All right, hello YouTube. Welcome to Geekery Abides. We are here for episode 10, hitting our first big milestone.
First milestone at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's the first one that matters. I mean, there's a couple small milestones. Any episode
first,
could be a milestone.
First episode's a milestone.
Yeah, I mean, for us, that's behind the scenes developing it. But for folks listening, this is probably the first big milestone. So, let's go ahead and, I guess we can let's hit the intro and then get started with introductions and announcements and all that fun stuff.
He who is ashamed of his geekery has forgotten the face of Stan Lee.
This is the podcast, Geekery Abides.
Hello and welcome to Geekery Abides, episode 10, where we are going to be talking about Star Wars. Can't believe we made it all the way to number 10 without talking Star Wars. But I am one of your hosts, Tad, and with me as always is Peter, wearing the co-pilot shirt here.
I figured I gotta represent my boy, and fully represent my boy Chewbacca.
That's too there. You got to back it up. It was washed out in light there.
There we go. Chewbacca.
Yeah, there you go.
The best.
I don't know
right
about
there.
that.
Chewbacca.
You know what I realized? I don't think I have any Star Wars shirts left.
No.
I think everything I've had is worn out and stuff. And
you know what's funny is that we were talking, me and my wife were talking, because I got some new shirts for Father's Day, and I'm like, man, I don't think I have a Star Wars shirt. We're talking Star Wars this week. I'm gonna be embarrassed not showing up in a Star Wars shirt. And then I found this yesterday, and I was like, oh, I do have a Star Wars shirt. I have Chewbacca, the best. So
yeah,
there we go.
Yeah, I do not, unfortunately. So
your birthday's coming up, isn't it?
Yeah.
All
also,
right.
probably another Geekery Abides, or not Geekery Abides. T-Public order is probably in my future. I haven't done one since. I think it was cold last time I did it. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, it's been a minute. So at some point, my wallet's going to get hurt by doing that. So let's go ahead and dive on into the announcements. First of all, again, this episode 10, we're talking Star Wars. But let's first of all talk about emails. If you want to contact us, you can do that at either Peter or Tad at geekeryabides.com. It's one of we both have direct email lines. So if you could hit us up, either of us there individually, because we do alternate back and forth on these. And we do episode, I do the odds, Peter does the evens. So if you want to email us with feedback or whatever you want, whatever you have, shoot it to one of us directly. So either Peter at geekeryabides.com or Tad at geekeryabides.com, which is TADD. Do not lose that that first D, because that will go nowhere. That is the emails. And then let's go ahead and jump on over. I guess that jumps us right over to what have you been watching, reading, playing?
Yeah. So I'm going first.
Yeah. Oh, I guess we should also mention too.
Yeah.
Because I do that. This actually prefaces some stuff too. So this is the first time we've had any. Well, we're a new podcast on this side. So, but it's the first time we've had any kind of issues with scheduling. Peter got some illness going last week. So we had to delay the episode, so that's why we're here late.
Apologies, my bad.
But what that means is two things. One, we'll be back in a week for the next episode.
Yes.
And two, news-wise, I actually prepped the news as though we were doing the episode last week, because I had it prepped before we recorded, and we called it pretty late. I am not adding anything to the news that's happened since, because we're covering stuff in a week from now. So everything that will have...
So
the news as it stands is as it would have been had we recorded a week ago.
So as to clarify, Tad is not covering anything that has happened in the last week.
True.
News-wise.
True. There's been some stuff, but I felt like we were already stuffed with news, and I felt like it was probably the best way to do just a line of demarcation and just say, hey, let's just pretend this episode actually recorded a week ago, and then everything that's happened in the meantime we'll cover next week on episode 11. So
sounds good.
As well as at the end of this episode we'll throw out the topic as well for episode 11. Both Peter and I are super excited about it. So
yeah, absolutely.
But let's go ahead and dive in. What are you watching, reading, playing?
So I watched a bunch because I was sick. That week that I was sick, I watched a whole bunch of movies. It's kind of my go-to thing when I'm sick and down. Is it's either one or two things. Either it's movies that I've seen before. Very rarely will I watch new movies when I'm sick, or I'll watch documentaries.
Oh,
that's my go-to when I'm sick is one of those two things.
So can you watch documentaries when you're healthy, or does it just like make you like a?
No, I watch them when I'm healthy, but I usually am in a mood for documentaries.
Okay,
it's kind of like you with your reading. I know that sometimes you bounce between fiction, nonfiction, and then even at times you'll throw books aside and go strictly podcast for a while.
Yeah,
it's kind of like that for me. Is that sometimes I just get into a kick. Also, I found that when I get into a kick for documentaries, I'll watch all the ones I want, and all of a sudden there's no other good ones.
Yeah.
Because there are some really shitty documentaries
Hayden
out there.
does mention March of the Penguins. I heard that's a good documentary.
You stop it. That's a horror film, not a documentary. So I watched movies,
Do they have like a March of the Grizzlies, maybe? Or Grizzly Man?
Grizzly Man.
Grizzly Man's should be a good documentary
There's
as well.
also like 7 or 8 different documentaries about Yellowstone and the wildlife that lives up there. So
Grizzly Man, though, 2 hours, the dude just telling you that grizzlies are these compassionate, kind creatures, and then they eat him. Like, that's just the ultimate of humor.
Yeah.
I mean, not the humor that he died, just humor that, like, the irony of the fact that he spends the whole documentary like, oh, these are kind creatures and stuff, and then he ends up getting eaten. That's just asking for humor and irony.
Yeah, right. So I watched the 3 Godzilla movies, Godzilla 1 and 2, the newer ones, and then Kong versus Godzilla. I also went back and visited one of my all-time favorites from our high school days, Man on Fire with Denzel Washington and Christopher Walken and Dakota Fanning. Dude, that's one of the best revenge movies I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I fucking love that movie. And then I watched a couple MCU movies. I watched Spider-Man No Way Home and Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Then I watched a couple Bond movies. I watched Skyfall and No Time to Die.
Okay.
I wanted to watch Spectre, but my sick, addled brain forgot that I had access to it because it's not on any streaming service. So I forgot where it was. And so I skipped that one, which is sad because I love that one because I'm a big fan of Batista.
Yeah.
And he's
a good actor.
He's in that. So that's what I watched. And then I've also been watching a bunch of old wrestling stuff, pro wrestling. Never watched the WCW stuff back in the day, so I've been watching a bunch of that. And then I finished It Thursday. And I haven't started a new book yet. I don't know what I'm going to. I have tomorrow and tonight to decide before work. Because that's what I do a lot of my reading is on my way to work and at work.
Yeah.
So, and then I was playing Batman Arkham Knight, and that's got a hard stop because one of my all-time favorite games, 7 Days to Die, got a new update. So I've been playing that nonstop. In fact, I will be playing that tonight when I get home. So
sounds like you also watched Secret Invasion.
Oh, yeah, we did watch Secret Invasion. I forgot to update that. Shit. Thank you. That was my wife, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yep. There she
I mean,
is.
I would hope so. If someone else is chiming in with that knowledge, that would be that'd be somewhat peculiar. Just some random person. You also watched this at 9:00 last night. You were watching this,
and you were wearing this.
You know what I picture there is the Riddler from the Batman.
Oh yeah, that kind of guy. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, for me, I did go see the new Spider-Man yesterday. So I lucked out too because it did not. I don't think it said it, but when I got charged, it's like, oh, there's a couple bucks it charged me. That's weird. I'm like, it was, you only do that for RPX. Yeah. It was actually still in RPX.
Oh, nice.
But I feel like it didn't actually say that, but no, it was.
Okay,
so that was pretty nice. Saw that. Loved the first one. I don't think the second one's as good as the first one was, but it's still a great movie. But yeah, saw that. I've also dived in to rewatch The Wire. Just had to.
Yeah?
YouTube got me.
Yeah.
Throw up a scene here, scene there, and then suddenly I'm just like, why don't I just watch the fucking show?
Why don't I just watch it?
So I'm in the middle of the 3rd season, which it's 5 seasons total. So
oh wow, you went hard into it, didn't you?
It's so good, dude.
Because from like a couple weeks ago, you were watching The Wire at all.
No.
So
Yeah, no.
wow, 3 seasons. Wow.
HBO seasons, to be fair. So
That's true.
12 to 13 episodes.
At most.
And then reading, it has begun. The circle is opened.
You're back in the stand?
I am. My annual read of The Stand. For everyone on this podcast, if you're not following some of the other show, I read The Stand once a year. Not necessarily like I have to, but I just not that I like homework myself and say, Tad, you must. But it's usually this time of year I start to just crave going back to those characters and watching that story. So, yeah, I am back in it now. Fran is about to have a conversation with her mom.
Oh, that's fun. That's fun. So we got a bunch of people in the chat talking about what they've been watching, reading, and playing. Oh, have you been playing anything?
Yeah, but go ahead and catch us up here.
Carol says watching From, reading fairy tales.
And we talked about From on the last Dark Tower. King called that out as a really good horror thing. And he said something about something going through someone's head or something.
Yeah.
So I want to watch that too.
Then she says playing, I no longer have an Atari, so nothing, and then a laughing emoji.
Oh, did you miss reading fairy tales?
No,
or did you say that? Okay, I missed that. All right.
My wife says she watched Frankenweenie today, so that must have been while we were doing Dark Tower Palaver. And then mentioned that we watched Secret Invasion. Hayden says another Secret Invasion. Oh, and my wife also did see Spider-Man. You, oh, sir, also saw The Flash.
Oh, yeah, it's
you
true.
forgot about
That's
that.
true, I did see the
because I was supposed to go to that with you, and I was supposed to go to Spider-Man with my wife and daughter, and I was too sick.
And you're supposed to record 2 podcasts.
And I was supposed to record 2 podcasts. Dude, I missed a lot of stuff that week. I was bummed.
And Captain Trips hit you hard,
It was
man.
And it was Father's Day.
Yeah.
At the end of the week, like I was feeling a little bit better
You
by
got to
Sunday.
find a way to go see The Flash here real soon.
I got to. I love Michael Keaton as Batman, too, so...
I will, I'll go see it anytime you want.
You go see it?
I'll go see it again.
You go see it with me?
I'd see it again.
Maybe we should go see it next week after Hangout.
Yeah, I'm down.
What do you think? Okay.
I'm down.
Spencer says watching new Black Mirror. Been seeing only up all over TikTok, so downloaded it and giving it a shot. Not reading anything right now, but have been getting caught up on old Geekery Abides episodes. That's always good.
Awesome.
Hayden says he's been watching House. Oh, dude, House is such a classic, good TV. I shouldn't say classic, but it's such a good TV show to watch.
Yeah.
Black Mirror.
It's a classic now.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago.
And Hayden points out you went and saw The Blackening with him.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, you got to start writing some of this down.
I do. You know what? Actually, so I actually have a sheet that I track my movies I watch a year for the whole year.
Yeah, he goes through and makes a list at the beginning of the year, and he's like, okay, I want to see this one, I want to see this one, I want to see this one. Yeah. He makes like a Google sheet with it.
But then I make another list where I actually track everything that I watch, like whether it be at home or whether it be going to a theater and stuff.
I forgot about that.
So I just did it the other night to catch up because let me just pull it up here because I was extremely behind. When I started typing it in, the last one I had was November 5th, watching the Batman at home, or February 5th, watching the Batman at home on Blu-ray.
Oh my God.
That's the last one that I had recorded. So I had to add Scream 6, Cocaine Bear 65, John Wick Chapter 4, everything that's come out in the last 4 or 5 months that I hadn't recorded. So yeah, Across the Spider-Verse and The Flash, yeah, that's, and then the Blackening are what I've seen most recently.
In theaters, yeah. Hayden says have an episode dedicated to that list and call it Sheet Happens.
I mean, I'm a spreadsheet fanatic, so don't tempt me.
This is true.
And then playing wise, I have been playing the show. Gotta love the
baseball. It's baseball season.
It is indeed. Battlefield 2 I threw back on.
Really?
I have a person at work that says that he and a partner might be able to make us a foursome if you wanted to delve back in.
Really?
Okay. And he was saying they dominated just the 2 of them. And I was telling him how you, me, and four of us back in the day used to play. And I jumped on just to see, and it's still a lively servers and stuff. So
Battlefield 2?
Yeah, for a game that's or 4 or 2, yeah, 2, yeah. Is that the one we played?
We played Battlefield 4.
4 is what I meant. Sorry.
That's why I was curious.
Yeah.
I was like, Battlefield 2. That's
no
an
4. Yeah, and then Red Dead 2, still playing through.
Oh, you got to the part.
I will say Hayden just bought it.
Hayden bought Red Dead?
He did. He texted me the picture that he bought it, so he is diving in.
Have you warned him?
of like exploding heads or grizzly bears that might randomly
grizzly
attack
bears?
you. Well, I've sent him some clips. I sent you all, our whole group. I sent clips of like a bear attacking me and shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, he knows. Let's see. Yeah. So that's where I've been at video game wise. I've been bouncing around a lot more than normal. But Red Dead, I think last I checked, I was at 87%. But there's a lot of minute stuff that I'm gonna have to hit to get some of that up. So.
There's a lot to get that game to 100%.
There is.
There's quite a lengthy list.
Sizable for sure.
But so with that, we're going into the news now, right?
Yes.
Okay, let's go to the news.
And I guess I didn't change the slides like usual.
Shame.
So, the first one, news-wise, Captain America got a title change.
Oh, it did?
It did.
I did not hear about this.
So Captain America New World Order, the title is changed. It is now Captain America Brave New World.
All right.
So title change, yeah. So apparently a lot of folks were not too keen on the New World Order thing. As you mentioned earlier, old wrestling aside. There's unfortunately a lot of people that find that as there's an anti-Semitic like conspiracy theory to it all and stuff. And apparently a lot of people weren't super happy with that. And so much so that Marvel changed the title, I'm assuming, so because of that. So, yeah, new title. It is now Brave New World. So Sam Wilson will no longer be going against Hollywood Hogan and Kevin Nash and Scott Hall in the next movie. I mean that's a dated reference now. Back in the late '90s. But yeah, that's a big change. I wasn't sure if you'd seen anything on that. So let's go ahead next and talk about some news we probably expected, but it's not good.
Oh.
Disney has some massive release date shifts across the entire board. This is all going to be most likely due to the writer's strike. So yeah, let's just go down the list here. It's sizable here. So Avatar 3 has been pushed out to 2025. It is no longer coming out next year.
Okay.
Avatar 4 is coming out in December of 29. And Avatar 5 is 2031.
Good Lord. My daughter's going to be graduating around that time.
Doesn't that make you feel good, sir?
I'm sure my wife is putting very angry emojis in the chat at some point.
Oh, so that's nuts. Star Wars. 2 Star Wars films have actually been confirmed for 2026, which is insane.
Say it.
1 year. They're going to be 2 movies. They've done that once before, and it didn't really work out all that well.
Rogue One and Episode 8?
No, wasn't it Solo and Rise of Skywalker?
Was it Rise of Skywalker or was it The Last Jedi?
Well, yeah, no, because Skywalker was Last Jedi was 2017. Or was it that? I don't remember now. Either there was 2 of them though, so that's kind of interesting. But Disney, Star Wars films that have previously slated dates for December 26. So there's no titles involved here, unfortunately, for this. So there was a film that was previously slated for December 26th, and it has moved up to May 26th, May 22nd, 2026. This is likely the Daisy Ridley movie, as it is the furthest along in development. That's pure speculation, but it's the furthest along, so that's likely the one that's coming out May 2026. Star Wars time period, too. Late May. That's traditionally Star Wars time period.
Yeah.
Another Star Wars feature was also announced for a mere 5 months later on December 18th, 26. So May 22nd, December 18th. Like, that's not a lot of time between Star Wars movies.
I got to correct you. There's never been 2 Star Wars released in the same year. Episode 7 came out in 2015. Rogue One came out in 2016.
Yeah.
Episode 8 came out in 2017. Solo came out in 2018, and Rise of Skywalker came out in 2019. So we had a
it's a short months between.
It's short between Last Jedi
and
2017 and Solo in May of 2018.
Yeah, there was only
a couple months in between, but it was not the same year. So just a little bit of a correction, but yeah, we got there.
So another Star Wars film is also slated for December 17th, 2027.
Yeah.
So that's your release dates now. So now you ready for some Marvel?
Oof, I don't. Oh. All right, hit me, because I know the names of these ones, and I'm excited for some of them. So go ahead, let's go.
Kang's Dynasty has been pushed. It is not coming out now till May 1st, 26.
That doesn't surprise me.
Secret Wars has been pushed to May 7th, 2027.
From
I didn't take the froms down on these. Unfortunately, sorry, I forgot about that. Cap 4 has been moved back 3 months to July 26, 2024. So that Thunderbolts has been delayed 5 months to December 20th, 2024. So that's not going to be till the end of next year. Blade has also been delayed 5 months to February 14th, 2025. Fantastic Four has been delayed 3 months to May 2nd, 2025.
Okay.
Now some positive though. Deadpool 3 has moved up.
Whoa.
And will be coming out May 3rd, 2024 instead of November 2024.
Wait, that's next year.
Yes.
Woohoo!
So May next year, Deadpool 3, but everything else is pretty much shifting backwards.
Hey, you know what? Good. I love Deadpool. So
yeah. So that's a lot of movement, and not necessarily a surprise as the strike has been prolonging out. We kind of figured that we're probably going to start losing stuff that is in development that is not going to come out as they were originally announced. So
my wife just corrected me. My daughter will have graduated for Avatar 5. She'll be 19. Oh my God. My wife will be 41. What the hell, dude?
How do you like that?
Oh, I'm 4 years older than her. I'll be 45, 46 when Avatar comes out. Avatar 5.
If it comes out on time.
If it comes out on time. I'll be close to my 50s, Tad. What the hell? We will be close to our 50s.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, that's that. Also, 20th Century has added an Alien installment on August 16th, 2024. So there's a new Alien movie coming out.
Did you say Disney added that?
20th Century, which is under Disney.
Okay. Oh, I forgot that they were Fox, weren't they?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yep. So that is that. I guess I had a slide for that actually. So yeah, that's intriguing though. New Alien movie. Haven't heard a lot about it. I think there's a show in development for Alien as well.
Yeah.
So there's gonna be a lot of xenomorphs in our future here.
It's happy times.
It is happy times. And face huggers.
Yeah.
Gotta love those, right?
Those are not as fun.
You gotta love them.
I need to get my wife to watch Aliens.
That's a fun
Alien
one.
and Aliens. She needs to watch those two at least.
Yeah, indeed.
After that, there's no other good movies.
Hayden talking about were hyenas, which is Harrison Ford, of course.
And Anchorman 2, yeah.
I
I did see a clip with him. It was an interview and everything like that. And the lady's like, I got to ask, I know we're doing indie, but I know that you're filming for Marvel, and I saw a picture of you on set with ripped clothes. Is that because you're turning into the Red Hulk? And he looked at his co-star and goes, what the hell's a Red Hulk? What does that even mean? He's just, dude, pure Harrison Ford, dude.
Harrison.
He is the best.
Yeah. Or like, what do you think, Han Solo, this, that? And he's like, I don't care.
I don't care. I don't know. I don't care.
All right. So next one, sad news. Cormac McCarthy passed away at the age of 89, legendary writer. In the pop culture realm and literary realm, pretty iconic. But in the pop culture realm, No Country for Old Men won Best Picture based off of his novel.
Yeah.
There was also The Road that had Viggo Mortensen in it.
I have that on my Audible wish list. I almost pulled the trigger the other day on it, but it's only 10 hours. And your stupid rule is stuck in my head.
So great. And they're also apparently, like, not long ago, I think it was only 6 months ago or so, they had announced that they are moving forward with trying to do a Blood Meridian movie, which is apparently one of his most iconic books, but it's considered unfilmable for the most part.
Hey, we've heard about stuff Flanagan's done, and it's turned out pretty well. So bring it.
I think that he even said before, like 6 months ago or so, that he was like fully behind what they were doing and stuff. So interesting. Now that'll all be done posthumously, as he has obviously passed away. Next up, this is an interesting one. Apparently, and we don't know the contents of it, but apparently Steven Spielberg wrote a letter to Craig Mazin commending him on episode 3 of The Last of Us.
Oh.
Kind of one of those amazing things when, a younger filmmaker relatively is, complimented by an all-time great. It always reminded me a little bit of when Anthony Hopkins wrote a letter to Bryan Cranston on Breaking Bad.
About Breaking Bad,
It's some of the best acting I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Like, just props to you.
And that's Sir Anthony Hopkins, thank you.
Sir Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah.
Eat your brain and feed it to a child on an airplane. Oh, man. Never eat mystery meat.
No.
Yeah, right there.
Know where your meat comes from.
Yeah, exactly. So it reminded me. I thought it was pretty cool. I can only imagine what that feels like because I think it kind of came out because Mason was telling
Sure.
some of the director and some of the people involved that like, hey, I got this letter, and then like one of them mentioned it. We don't really know what the contents are, but it's still pretty cool that one of the most legendary directors of all time,
Yeah.
Watches and loves the same thing that a
You
lot
got
of
an
us
ew
watching.
from Hayden in the chat.
Why? What did I say?
Brains.
Oh yeah, eating brains. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fun.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Has he watched Hannibal?
I don't know.
I think you should. That's one of the reaction ones you need to write down is Hannibal.
Yeah, it's a brutal movie too.
It's very brutal.
It is. Good body count in that movie. Next up, CW has pretty much been liquidating. There's almost nothing left on there that is CW. They're completely rebranding it apparently.
Yeah.
But inexplicably, Superman and Lois has been renewed for a 4th season.
Good.
It is the last comic book movie or comic book thing standing on CW. It's been good. I haven't watched the new season yet. They're all gone.
Legends
Everything.
Tomorrow, Batwoman.
They're all
All
gone.
gone.
But Superman and Lois is still there. The only downside is apparently they're doing less episodes, which I guess whatever.
Aw.
But they also cut the budget to the point where like they have a pretty regular like supporting cast, and pretty much like of the 12 people that are like the main supporting people, almost all of them will not be involved anymore.
Oh no.
So it's pretty much going to get dialed into just like the core stuff. So that sucks. Some people lost jobs on that, but I can't wait to watch the 3rd season, which I still haven't been able to get my hands on. But yeah, it's been a good show so far as a Superman fan. Next up, this is one you probably never thought you'd hear. Hugh Grant has signed to do a Mormon horror movie for A24.
What?
I don't know, but I had to cover. I mean, for one, Hugh Grant has never done a horror movie.
But also, we're from Utah, and the LDS Church Mormons are here. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. So
my wife says, what?
yeah, so Mr. Chick Flick, yeah, is
What?
doing an A24 horror movie about Mormons. So
Okay.
I'm there, whatever.
Okay.
A24 is awesome. But yeah, definitely random shit. And this next one here, we actually have actually kind of aligns with what we're talking about today. There's some cool behind the scenes stuff about Yoda that came out not too long ago.
Okay.
There's 2 quotes, one's from Mark Hamill, one's from Frank Oz. Just fun little things that you
we're talking about Star Wars.
yeah,
It's
we're
the
gonna-
day to do it.
We're going to talk about it, so it works out. So first of all, a quote from Mark Hamill. He says, when Frank was doing Yoda, everybody started doing Yoda on the set. The cameramen, the caterers, wardrobe, stand-ins, stunt doubles. Oh, hungry are you? To the commissary are you going? Look, I'm being influenced by your impressions, and I want to keep it. And so basically, Frank told everyone to stop. He says, no more Yoda impersonations on set ever.
Okay.
And he says, because he said, look, I'm being influenced by your guys' impersonations, and I want to keep it pure. And then Mark goes on and says, so I could see exactly what he was talking about.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we all stopped on a dime, and the rest is history. So,
Oh wow, that's cool.
Just a fun little,
You know, that's like a
behind the scenes
professional thing there. Like,
because
like,
it's
yeah, you can take a joke and run with it, but if it's going to affect like his performance, and he
and
asks,
it's very
to stop.
ill-formed, right? Like
Yeah.
Yoda's so new that like if episode 1, if everyone was talking Yoda, it wouldn't affect him.
It wouldn't affect.
He knows what he's doing.
No,
at that
yeah.
point. But in that movie, like,
that's the first time we see Yoda. That's the first time the character's introduced and everything.
Yeah.
We could have absolutely ended up with a different Yoda if he hadn't have said something. Hey, good on him and good on them for respecting his wishes and stuff like that.
yeah.
I love hearing stories like that. That's great.
Yeah, so then we have a quote from Frank. He says, it's funny you ask about, and this is from a while back, so this
Yeah.
isn't necessarily connected, but it's similar. It's in the similar vein. He tells the interview, it's funny you asked about that because I was looking at the original script for Empire Strikes Back the other day, and there was a bit of an odd syntax in it, but it had Yoda speaking very colloquially. So I asked George Lucas, can I do a whole thing like this? And he said, sure. It just felt so right. So it sounds like Frank may have actually been
Oh,
the inspiration for Yoda's
he's the one that
jumbled
came up
speak.
with it.
Interesting. I'd love to see that
Interesting
script
that
to see
is.
like, yeah, like if does he, so he has like some terms he used or whatever, but like it sounds like it may not have been jumbled. It sounds like Frank may have actually inspired that. So I don't know, just some Force Goblin news to
Force Goblin.
never trust a Force Goblin, man. They try to overthrow your government.
Oh, stop it.
Oh, we're gonna get Peter indignant already. We haven't even got through the news yet.
Hashtag Todd is terrible.
All right, so now we're talking a couple rumors before we dive into the main topic. The first rumor, also slightly connected, apparently Ewan McGregor is begging for an Obi-Wan season 2.
That's fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi.
My one per episode.
So I mean,
I want it.
yeah, hook it to my fucking veins for Christ's sake.
Just hook it to my veins!
Like, I
I loved Obi-Wan.
I hope they're if they didn't already have plans for it. Hopefully, Ewan's being interested is enough to like sway them into like
Why
finding
wouldn't
something.
you at this point? Like,
yeah,
Hayden
exactly.
says America needs more Force goblins.
I mean, I will say the baby ones are pretty cute, but I don't know. The adult ones are sinister, and evil, and
I don't know.
lurking in the swamps and trying to overthrow your government.
Stop it.
And then the last one here, I figure you'd appreciate. The rumor is Andy Muschietti is reportedly the top choice to direct The Brave and the Bold, the new
Ooh.
the first James Gunn Batman film.
I'm down.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm
Andy, I'm probably based on his work on The Flash would be my guess. But my question I put on the screen though, will there be clowns in it?
Of course.
Because Andy Muschietti, of course,
I mean, of course.
he created quite an iconic clown character there. Plus, you've got Penguin, which could have clown henchmen, or you could have the Joker, which is full on clown.
There's also a couple other clown typical characters too. So we
Yeah,
could have
Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn.
Yeah, indeed,
I mean, yeah.
indeed. But yeah, Andy
I mean,
Muschietti.
you got plenty of clowns. You could put Superman in it. There's a clown. Oh.
You could put Pennywise in there and watch Batman go down.
No, Batman would handle it. He doesn't have a fear.
He fears bats.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah,
No, no. Only in some iterations does he fear bats. Thank you.
he fears bats.
No. You're thinking Nolan Batman. That guy fears bats. This Batman may not.
Pennywise would just bring him into the alley and have him watch that. He would fold real quick, sir.
I mean, it's not like Batman hasn't fought someone exactly like Pennywise and Scarecrow, a dozen times.
Yeah.
And handled the fear toxin like a fucking champ.
Yeah, but Scarecrow, he's a chump. Pennywise is a
He's the heavyweight champion of fear.
like an external universal being of
Yeah.
higher order, like beyond anything we can comprehend.
Batman would handle it.
He's not just some failed psychiatrist that puts
He
on
would
a
have
stupid mask.
anti-clown spray on his belt.
like the anti-shark spray.
Exactly.
Oh
and
man.
it would be it wouldn't be like a continuous spray. It would just be a
And imagine the giant amalgamation of a human, a bat, and a clown as Pennywise transforms into.
Oh, there you go. He
Like-
gets stuck mid-transformation.
No, because it would just be merging,
Yeah.
Pennywise has the clown stuff.
Okay.
Batman doesn't like bats, but you also would want it to be humanoid a bit, so you'd have like Man Bat that's a clown with the big pom poms coming after Bruce.
That's a
Wayne.
fun image.
Yeah, that is a fun
Yeah.
image, isn't it? Kind of like those penguin.
No,
Clowns.
no.
I made an AI
No.
crate for you.
I don't know what you're talking about. I never saw those. It's a glorious thing about our phones that has that delete message option where I don't see shit like that. And nope.
I'll make sure to send them again.
No.
All right, so that is moves us out of the news. We are now over to the main topic.
Which is Star Wars. We're talking the original trilogy here. So Episode 4, A New Hope. Episode 5, Empire Strikes Back. And Episode 6, which is the last, the Return of the Jedi. And so I just looked up at your poster of The Last Jedi over your shoulder.
I figured.
Original trilogy came out in 1977 for Star Wars A New Hope, which it wasn't originally called A New Hope.
No, just Star Wars.
Just Star Wars. And then The Empire Strikes Back comes back out in 1980, and then Return of the Jedi comes out in 1983. Unfortunately, all three of those came out before either of us were born. We were both born in 1985.
Yep.
So we both had different upbringing. So I kind of wanted to talk about that first, is how did we come to Star Wars? And I know we talked about it a little bit in like our Geekery Abides DNA and stuff like that. But I just wanted to see if there was anything you wanted to add to yours with it. I know that you mentioned toys with your dad, right?
Yeah, the toys, they started doing the new toys, I think it was 94, 95, so I was already into it by then. For me, it was, I was 5, I think, so that would have put it in, I think it was like summer of when I was 5, so that would have been...
90?
90?
No, 91. Right before you turned 6?
Yeah.
Yeah, 91.
I think yeah, so it probably would have been 91.
Yeah.
Mom had married my stepdad, which is basically my dad now. Didn't really know him, and I remember we were out playing on the playground. We were at an apartment, and he called us in and said, "Hey, you guys want to watch a movie?" And I'm just like, "No, adult movies are stupid." It's like in my mind, it's dramas. So it's like, all these stupid talking movies, or all the adults do is sit around and talk.
Yeah.
He's like, "No, this one's got spaceships and lasers and shit." And I was down.
Yeah.
I was down.
Okay.
I was down for that. So watched it on VHS, and the rest is history.
Yeah, it was just downhill from there.
Yeah, indeed.
Okay, so what's your favorite of those three?
Oh, Empire Strikes Back.
Which I'm sure we've talked about and
Yeah,
it's mentioned, but let's just get it on record.
As a kid, the snow battle, I used to call it the one with the snow was how I would whatever. But I loved that. The Yoda stuff, probably not a lot as a young kid. Probably wasn't my favorite stuff because it isn't as compelling. But then the final stuff in Bespin and stuff is incredible. But the snow, the Hoth stuff was just blew me away. It's my favorite stuff. I'd get the snow troopers, my favorite stormtrooper.
I was gonna ask you about that because you've said that before.
Yeah, I love the snow trooper. So I used to have 5 or 6 of those, and anytime it would snow, I'd go out and play with them. And I had like the snow speeder and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, I loved.
So you had a bunch of the toys that you actually played with, not just collected.
Oh yeah, no, it was all played with. I wasn't a collector. I was a kid playing with the toys. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not keeping them in the package and saving them for later.
God, no. I'm not a nerd like that. I did find later on too into the more mid to late 90s, closer to the end of when I stopped playing with toys for the most part. I remember there'd be times that my dad, he was a collector, so he'd go to like Toys R Us first thing in the morning and like to get like the collected
see what's put out.
And I actually remember it was the Yoda figure for the Power of the Force, little tiny guy.
Yeah.
And I remember it was Easter. I got it for Easter, and I remember kind of seeing out of the corner of my eye my dad as I was ripping it open, just like bracing because like it was one of the collector. It was like one of the most valuable and hard to find toys. So just for him as a collector to see me just ripping it open was great. So
the funny thing for me is that I don't think I ever owned a single Star Wars toy. Growing up, I loved the movies, especially A New Hope was my favorite. My dad was a fighter pilot in Vietnam, so I always was attracted to the X-wing, the fighter pilots, fighter pilots kind of thing. So I always made out of Duplo blocks. I never had Legos. I built a Duplo X-wing, and I could never get a TIE fighter built correctly because they're structurally stupid.
Oh, come on.
A terrible ship and just horrible design.
Best ship. Most iconic
everything.
ship in the series. Or
most iconic sign. Sound for a ship. Not the most iconic ship.
Most iconic.
Millennium Falcon is way more iconic.
Snub fighter. That's what I'm saying.
There's a reason there's a ride at Disneyland that's the smugglers run on the Millennium Falcon, not going for a joyride in a TIE fighter, sir.
They couldn't replicate that anyway.
They wouldn't want to. No one cares about TIE fighters.
Sure they do. They're awesome.
Anyways. But I knew you liked the Snow Troopers.
Also, we have some stuff in the chat that was mentioned
yeah.
earlier too. Forgot that till just now. Let's see. Let me scroll back up. Sorry, I wanted to mark it, but then I forgot. So Mike says, OG was my favorite. My dad took me to see Return of the Jedi when I was 6. I couldn't read yet and kept asking him what the subtitle said when Jabba was talking. Oh, yeah, that's awesome. Then there is some, of course, just hello there's and General Kenobi's and all the good stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was it. That was the main one I wanted to swing back to. I think I got everything else. But yeah, sorry. What were you saying?
When did you fall in love with Boba Fett?
Oh, immediately.
Mike says in the chat, Boba Fett was his favorite for decades.
That was the other reason that I loved Empire. Like,
Boba Fett?
That's when Boba shows up.
Disintegration.
He's just a bad... I mean, I loved all the fucking bounty hunters, dude. Like Bosk, Zuckuss, IG-88, Forloom. Like, I love them all, man.
I've never heard that word before, Zuckuss.
Zuckuss, really?
No.
He's the lizard.
I thought that was Bosk.
Or yeah, I'm sorry. He's the buggy-eyed dude.
So
the original people always get mad at that because they actually fucked up the packaging, and Forloom and Zuckuss, they flipped them. So Forloom, it's 4-LOM, so it's clearly a fucking droid, but they flipped it. So the Forloom was on Zuckuss, clearly a humanoid, and then Zuckuss was on the robot. And so even today, like if you were to ask, my stepdad, like, hey, who's Forloom? He's going to say Zuckuss. Like he's going to point out to him because they fucked up the packaging on the toys. And that's how all the kids in the original generation learned the names was
from the toys.
The toys. Because they didn't say them in the credits and shit. You found that out with, Lucas came up with names for all these guys, but you don't hear them in the movie. I mean, you never heard the word Palpatine in the original trilogy.
No.
So, because I remember there was like some in episode 1. Some people reacted and was like Senator Palpatine. Some people reacted, other people didn't. Because like, I don't want to say normies. That sounds pejorative. But people that aren't as hardcore, that was just whatever, that's the dude's name.
Yeah.
But other of us were like, wait a minute, that's the Emperor's name. So yeah, most of us learned a lot of that from I had books and shit, but my dad, he would have only had toys. So
I will say I am getting roasted in the chat for my TIE Fighters comments. So Carol says, no one cares about TIE Fighters? # Peter is terrible. And then Hayden says TIE Fighters are so rad.
Yeah,
So.
the only thing I hated though is the toy for the TIE Fighter had an exploding action. So you pushed a button and the wings popped off.
Because it deserves to blow up.
And the problem is over time it got to the point where the wings started to get wobbly. So like it would be fine, like it would stand up and stuff, but the wings wobbled and like
if you were playing with it would sit there and
the wings would just be like wobbly a bit, and it fucking drove me crazy.
Oh.
Just like the guns on the S foils on the X-wing started to bend because they were just thin plastic.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't be like true.
That'd
be,
be
like,
terrible
bent
for me.
a little
I would
bit.
be so annoyed by that.
Yeah.
Mike says Zuckus and Forform were partners.
Forlom.
Forlom. Oh, I read that wrong.
Yeah, but yeah, that was one of my favorite little trivia bits is they fucked up the packaging on the toys. So for a whole generation of people call the one that's clearly not a droid, they call, that's Forlom. No, it's fucking not. He's not a droid.
Yeah.
Like that one's the droid. Come on. Yes.
So I was looking up Star Wars stuff a couple days ago, and I found out that I didn't know that it won so many Academy Awards. Episode 4?
Oh, yeah.
I never knew that it was even nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy to me to find that out. So I looked up all 3 films. It's on the Wikipedia. I found out that Episode 4 won 7 Academy Awards.
Yeah, most of the special effects.
It won Best Costume Design, Film Editing, Original Score, Production Design, Sound Mixing, Visual Effects, and Special Achievement Award. Mm-hmm. And it was nominated for also Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Supporting Actor, and a Best Original Screenplay.
Yeah.
Nominated for those, didn't win those.
Yeah.
Empire Strikes Back won 2 for Sound Mixing and Special Achievement Award. And then Return of the Jedi only won Special Achievement Award. So.
Yeah.
And Empire Strikes Back was not nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, Empire didn't become widely loved until it was like the late 90s. Mm-hmm. Like growing up when I was really young, nobody said Empire was their favorite. Yeah. It was always Star Wars or Jedi. But then like there was just this rediscovery in like it was around 97 when they re-released them in theaters that suddenly everyone started to realize like, holy shit, dude, this movie is fucking a masterpiece. And everyone now that's like the trendy thing to say for the most part is that's everyone's favorite. But I'm
sticking to my guns. New Hope's better. I'll say it. A New Hope's a better movie.
Yeah, I don't know, man. One of these days we're going to rank the Star Wars movies. That'll be fun.
That's tough.
That's
going to be tough. Do you know what movie Star Wars lost to for Best Picture?
Yeah, Annie Hall.
Hey, good call. Good bit of trivia for Tad there.
Yeah.
I have a couple other things that
Can't challenge me to Star Wars trivia, sir.
I don't think I ever want. I'm not brave enough for that. I'm not.
You're not brave enough for politics.
I'm not brave enough for politics.
And I'll say, I wonder how many things we say day to day that are just Star Wars. Because that's the thing.
So much.
Is I know we're not talking prequels, but like the prequel meme, like whole thing.
How that exploded.
Dude, we've been doing that for 20 years.
We did that like when episode 3 came out, where this is where the fun begins. We said that from day one when that movie came out.
But there was a bunch of things in that movie.
Oh, yeah.
Said. So I that's what I say is we were the precursors to prequel memers.
Do you remember one of the first ones that you ever would quote to me? Is I would say something, and whenever it was a negative from you, you'd be like, "That doesn't count." The Obi-Wan line to Anakin, that doesn't count. Yeah. But okay, so I have a little bit of a ambush tactic here on Tad.
It's a trap.
It absolutely is a trap. Actually,
I need an Akbar button.
We need that. I rewatched the original 3 movies within the last 2 or 3 months. I don't remember. I mentioned it on Geekery Abides when I watched them.
Yeah.
I took note of something while watching those, because there's been an age-old debate between Tad and I, and one of the reasons why I picked the OG Star Wars is to settle this debate here and now. So, to settle our debate, Tad, R2-D2 versus C-3PO in the original trilogy, who was the better droid?
3PO, clearly.
The things I'm looking at are, what did the droid do to help the rebels? The just cause of overthrowing this evil dictatorship that Palpatine and Vader installed. In episode 4, 3PO does 3 things to help them. Number 1, he suggested they buy R2. I wanted to make sure that I gave 3PO his due, because writing these down, I realize he actually does do some good. I've joked and said that he's worthless and stuff like that, but I went through and I listed everything that I could justify that 3PO did that was of the good for the greater good. The first thing he does is he suggests that they buy R2-D2.
Yeah.
Number 2, he says to leave him when they get attacked by the Sand People. That is selfless of a droid to say, you know what? I'm too damaged. Leave me alone.
Yeah. It's hilarious, though.
Oh, it's absolutely hilarious. Yeah.
So
and
dour.
Luke's like, don't talk about it like that. Like, come on, let's get out of here. They take him and they go back to Ben's place and they repair him and everything like that.
Yeah.
But still, I'm going to give 3PO his props. I'm not going to be like you and be biased and just say one is better. I did my research, sir. Number 3 that 3PO did, he made an excuse to the stormtroopers who came looking to see what was going on at the guard station to get past them on the Death Star.
Yeah.
Oh, I got to take him down to maintenance and and get past there.
Yeah.
R2 probably wouldn't have got past that guard. Oh, well, I mean, he might have shocked him and then got shot. Yeah.
Because he's a monstrous war criminal.
He's not Chopper. Calm down.
No, but he's close.
R2-D2 did 5 things. So, if for those of you keeping track at home,
But the only thing
5 to 3.
I will point out, without that first one, R2 does shit.
Hey,
he will be.
That's not true. The very first thing the very first thing that R2-D2 does to help the rebel cause is he takes the Death Star plans, which happens up on the tangent
so the second
before. See, you're slandering R2
No.
before I even get to his list.
So,
how dare you?
No, because
sir?
here's the thing: if it wasn't for 3PO getting him away from those Jawas, the stormtroopers get the plans. And your little rebellion is gone. It's done for.
Yeah.
Because then,
but you're saying that you just said you're not giving R2 any
Tarkin
credit.
would have looked at those plans and went, "Oh shit, look at that!" And they would have put a freaking plate over that goddamn exhaust port.
I think that if it was there, I don't think that they could have fixed it. I mean, I guess Rogue One kind of makes it seem like he designed it specifically to be a vulnerability.
Yeah, they could have fixed it.
They could have fixed it.
Yeah. Just put it like a U cut in there so the torpedo can't go in.
So, number 2 for R2 is he hacks into the Death Star to find the tractor beam location and find out that Princess Leia is on board. Without that, Leia's dead. Like, they don't know that she's there. They don't know that she's been, and everything like that. They don't know that she's actually on that Death Star. Without R2-D2, we would lose Princess Leia. Yeah. Credit where credit is due for R2 right there. Number 3. He reminds C-3PO about the goddamn communicator. Oh, I forgot about it. I turned it off. Stupid 3PO turned off the communicator.
Well, yeah, because they're hiding from stormtroopers.
It was on the desk. Yeah. He left it on the desk because they're yelling at him. He picks it up, turns it off, walks past the guard, and forgets to turn it back on.
Yeah.
R2 has to remind him. R2's more worthwhile there than 3PO.
I would debate that.
No,
that
he has to remind him to turn it back on. They leave. 3PO's like, I don't know where they are. I can't.
Also, 3PO's never
holding it in his hand.
3PO's not cursing at people like R2 is.
R2's cursing every single word. Let's just remember
that. Not necessarily, but I will say there's a number of times you could tell he's swearing.
Number 4, he turns off all the garbage disposals.
Yeah. 3PO tells him to.
But he does it. 3PO doesn't do it. R2 does it.
Yeah, 3PO is the one that's getting the information and then conveying it to R2.
If R2 had the communicator, they wouldn't have had to worry about it being turned off. R2 would have handled it.
Yeah, like he did in episode 3 when the fucking communicator alerts all the droids to him and they go find him. Yeah. Because he won't turn the fucking thing off.
Because he needs to be available. That's his job.
See, 3PO,
he's not a coward.
3PO's smarter. He's like, let me turn this off so it doesn't alert us.
And then forget about it. That's the thing. I'm not saying that 3PO was wrong to turn it off. I've never said that. I'm saying that he's an idiot for forgetting to turn it back on. R2-D2 has to remind him about the communicator. Oh, the communicator. I forgot about it. I turned it off. He's all flustered and everything. And then number 5.
Well,
he actually fights at the Battle of Yavin. Unlike 3PO who just stands there.
He gets toasted.
3PO's just standing there looking at Princess Leia every time something happens.
Yeah, he's a protocol droid. That's the other thing. He's not made for getting into combat and being able to process all those like high things. See, R2, he's just cannon fodder. He's just there to go fix the ship as it gets blown away. Disposable droid is what he is.
No, most useful droid in all of Star Wars, and I got the proof right here. There is an asterisk here for a fourth one for 3PO, but I can't give him credit because it is not confirmed, but he does offer his spare parts if R2 needs them after coming back.
Yeah.
But we never see confirmation that he ever actually sacrifices anything for R2, so there's no points given for intent.
You know, one of my favorites, it's actually a deleted scene. Have you seen the whole deleted portion of the Wampa stuff in Empire?
No.
So
No.
So there's a whole element where the Wampas get into the fucking rebel base.
Okay.
And
yeah.
there's a whole subplot with it, but basically the costumes kind of didn't look right, so they end up cutting it all. But at one point, they've got doors that have signs saying there's a fucking Wampa behind this door.
Yes, you have told me this.
And when they're running away at one point, 3PO stops, pulls the sign off, and then they keeps walking, and then you see stormtroopers go and open that door and go in and get fucking killed.
You see like an arm come out and you like grab them.
Pull them in, yeah. It's one of my favorites because it's like that's like R2 or Chopper level of vindictive evil. Like that's like good God.
Yeah.
You just cause those people to die by a beast.
So let's go to episode 5 then, because I did the whole saga here. So again,
Mike says they have a symbiotic relationship and they need each other.
This is true. One's useful, one's not.
There's the slander.
One's got to make. I didn't say who though. Did I say who?
Yeah,
you're the one.
Mike saying that removes the hazard sign.
Yeah, exactly. So episode 5. So reminder: scores 5-3 for R2D2. We'll start with R2D2 this time. In episode 5, he scans for Luke and Han. He stays out in the cold, scanning for Luke and Han, while 3PO's just telling him to give up and be a quitter and stuff like that. Horrible person. Give up on them.
Tell him to come back in. It's getting too cold. R2's going to freeze himself into a little popsicle if he keeps out there for too long.
Shame on him. And then also he opens the doors on Bespin. He lays down a smoke cover for them to retreat. He drags C-3PO on the Falcon and starts repairing him on the Falcon. Even though they're trying to escape, he still takes care of his friend. He also fixes the hyperdrive on the Falcon because the Bespin workers had sabotaged it.
Ugnaughts.
Yeah, the Ugnaughts
Can't
sabotaged it.
Never
R2D2's the one that fixes it.
Never trust an Ugnaught. But he only fixes it because he got in the computers and knew that they deactivated it.
This is true. Again, but he still did it. You're trying to make excuses for why he did things, but he still did it. Just because someone directed him to do it doesn't mean that he didn't.
And he also got eaten like a fool.
Yeah. I do. You know the funny thing was I was watching really close on the parts on Dagobah, and I'm like, God damn, R2 doesn't do anything worthwhile here. He just is kind of like
he just antagonizes the Force Goblin.
Or the other way around.
No, trying to take shit away from him and stuff
that doesn't belong to him. Unfortunately, this is where we get into a little bit of a character development for C-3PO. He only has 2 things that he did good on episode 5. He tells Han what's wrong with the hyperdrive when they're broken down and hiding in the asteroid.
Yeah.
Tells
him his ship has a shit communication too.
I don't know where your ship learned to communicate and everything. But then he also does warn Chewbacca that there are stormtroopers behind him on Bespin. Oh, Chewbacca, they're behind you.
Yeah.
But again, is that self-preservation or is that actually like doing the right thing? I mean, tomato,
and wandering around, he discovered there were stormtroopers.
He didn't do that out of like the goodness of his heart.
But he did it.
He did that,
like you just said. It's not about why they did it. It's about the fact that they did it.
You know what? I would give 3PO a point if he actually was able to warn anyone about that.
Well,
he's
shot.
So worthless that he didn't even bother like escaping.
Like R2 getting shot in episode 4.
He did things before getting shot. He didn't just get shot at the start of the battle and then did nothing. He fixed Luke's X-wing and made it so that he could keep flying. Okay, you know what? I'll give 3PO a point for that. 3.
Mike said that R2 and 3PO are like Merry and Pippin of Star Wars.
And which one is more important, Merry or Pippin? This is the debate we're settling.
I think they're the same. There's not much.
See,
difference.
You're saying that, but you're not saying that about R2 and 3PO.
There's not much difference between Merry and Pippin. So.
I don't know. One of them helps a certain character survive, but I'm not saying who because my wife hasn't seen it and she's in the chat. Episode 6. 3PO translates for Luke to save them from the Ewoks. We've talked about this countless times.
Saved all their lives from being eaten by those fucking monsters.
But Luke should get more credit than 3PO. It was his idea, and then 3PO even refused to do it because it's forcing him to go against his programming, and he can't imitate a deity. So the only way that Luke can get him to actually do what he's asking is to lift him by the Force, and that's the only reason they get cut loose. 3PO does not convince anyone of shit. They refuse to cut him loose, even after 3PO tries. He says, I tried, Master Luke.
Yeah.
Luke lifts him with the Force, puts him back down, then they cut him loose.
Yeah, but they
only after a show by Luke, not 3PO.
That would have worked for no one else. That's 3PO's credit because he is gold and he gets.
I gave him credit, but I'm saying asterisk.
No,
Luke deserves some credit here. Without Luke, 3PO didn't do anything. Without Luke, 3PO doesn't do anything. They get eaten by the Ewoks. End of the story. Credits roll.
3PO would have taken out the shield generator.
Yeah, right. That's the most far-fetched bullshit thing I've ever heard.
They should have put some camouflage jackets on 3PO. That's all I'm saying. Would have been a cool toy.
That would have been pretty cool. And also, he sticks out like a sore thumb. Why do you have this gold bastard standing up there, and everything? 2 more things for him. He translates the Ewok about the secret entrance and how to get around there. He translates for them. Very good job for translating that. Also, he steps out and says, hey, over here, to get them to come up there to start the Ewok attack.
Yeah.
Okay.
Diversion.
Start that diversion. And then in episode 6, 3PO frees Leia from the chains. Leia dies on sail barge if she doesn't get cut free from those chains. She can't get out of those. R2 does that. R2-D2 saves C-3PO from Salacious Crumb. 3PO's on his back, getting attacked by that monkey thing. That's
Kowakian monkey lizard, man.
That horrible fucking thing. I hate that thing.
You love him.
I hate that thing. It's the worst. He also saves 3PO's life by pushing him off of the barge so they don't get blown up.
Because he can't see, because the Kowakian monkey lizard got him.
Because he's so inept, he can't even fight off a little stupid monkey.
He doesn't have the arm movement that we have, sir. He can't even touch his head. He's just like R2. If R2 had something up there getting on his dome, he wouldn't be able to do anything.
Worthless.
He doesn't have any hands.
He's worthless. No, I'm just kidding. And then R2 does cut them down from the net on Endor. And 3PO even tries to have him stop doing that. So.
I don't know about stop. He was just telling him, hey, man,
I
that's a
don't
long
know
drop.
I don't know if that's a good idea, and everything
that's
like
a long
that.
drop. As Luke falls down and breaks his neck. It's like, oh, well, I guess that's the end of that.
So for those of you keeping score at home, that's 9 for C-3PO and 14 for R2-D2.
3PO's the man.
R2-D2 does more to help the rebel cause than 3PO does.
And it would not have been possible without 3PO.
Or R2.
R2.
You got to stop saying only 3PO.
No,
it's not just 3PO.
R2 is captured on the Sandcrawler without 3PO convincing them.
And if R2 hadn't taken the Death Star plans, they would have both been destroyed by the Empire.
That's debatable. The Rebellion, yes, but the droids, I don't know. They wouldn't have even. They probably would have just been repurposed.
Yeah, exactly. And then the Rebellion dies. Everything that happens in Rogue One is worthless without R2. You're making it seem like R2 does absolutely nothing for the start of episode 4.
Just because he was the closest one around Leia, It could have been.
She could have given him to 3PO. 3PO was right there.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah, he was. He walks up and says, R2-D2, where are you?
Yeah, he's looking for him.
She's standing right there.
She's mid putting it into him when 3PO
And she
even
could have been
arrives.
like, oh, wait, I could give it to 3PO. Oh, wait, no, that's a horrible idea. He'll walk right up to the Empire and give it to them.
Slander, sir.
I guess that is true. No one would know what R2 is saying without 3PO.
Oh, man. But yeah, I also really love Jedi, I will say.
We haven't even talked about Jedi.
That first 20 minutes, the whole Jabba stuff is some of my favorite stuff in the original trilogy.
Were you a fan of the green lightsaber the first time you saw it?
I don't know.
Do you remember?
No, I was indifferent. Like, it was just lightsaber's a lightsaber. Like,
I was pissed. I love blue lightsabers. I mean, there's a reason. Blue lighting, Jedi and everything like that. I could have green, but I don't. Every time I play a Star Wars game and it gives you the choice of lightsaber, it's blue. It's blue every time.
Give me red.
Have you ever been able to complete a Knights of the Old Republic run where you're light side?
I did it once just to
see the ending,
just to see what it was all about, and I was like, this is nonsense. This is nonsense.
Do you like the speeder bike chase in Return of the Jedi?
Yeah, it's good. I like the Endor stuff's good for sure. I was always more of a fan of the lightsaber stuff on on the Death Star. That stuff is always more interesting to me than the Endor stuff overall. But yeah, the Jabba stuff though is the MVP of that movie for me. Like that.
Is it? Really? I never knew that.
Yeah, the only thing that is outside of, is the lightsaber duel is probably number one.
Yeah.
But it's tough because it's intercut, so you don't really get like just a clean lightsaber duel.
Has there ever been a cut of just the lightsaber duel?
It's the battle. It's basically the Battle of Endor and three different levels where you're just bouncing back and forth and stuff. But I love that stuff. But the Jabba stuff is just, it's fucking great, man. I love all the aliens.
From
I love
the start of the movie.
And Jabba is just incredible. He's one of my favorite characters. I can't remember if it was when I was trying to do the solo podcast for a bit, but I feel like I did. No, it wasn't actually. It was just on social media. It was in the lead up for The Force Awakens. I did my top 20 Star Wars characters the 20 days before that movie came out.
Oh, okay.
I think Jabba was top 5.
Really?
Yeah, I love Jabba, dude.
I know Boba Fett's up there. I mean, you have his symbol tattooed on your arm, which of course now means so much more, and everyone talks to you about it when they see it.
Yeah, indeed. When I got it, it meant nothing. It was just something on
it was
Boba
in,
Fett's armor.
It was in episode 5 the first time you see that, right?
Yeah. You see it a bit, but you don't really see it heavily until Jedi when he gets knocked over.
Oh, is it Return of the Jedi
on the
see
skiff
it?
When he gets knocked over and he lands like this, you get a good shot of it on his arm.
And it's the Bantha skull, right?
Well, that's what we called it then. Now it's the Mythosaur skull.
Now it's the Mythosaur skull.
Yeah.
So everyone knows that. If you haven't seen the season 3 of Mandalorian,
well, it's in the first season too.
Is it in the first season?
Yeah, their little
dude. I do not remember the first.
Their
season.
little convent underneath the city when he goes to meet the armor.
Oh,
it's got the big
right.
Yeah,
it's the one that's in season 3. They just move it.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, I love Boba Fett too. He's just the ultimate badass. Like he's basically Clint Eastwood from the No Name Man with No Name trilogy.
Says very little.
Yeah, doesn't speak very much. He gets like, and honestly, a lot of it comes down to the line from Vader, right? No disintegrations. I feel like that's a large part of his mystique.
Yeah.
There's that, and there's the fact that he sees through their bullshit and catches on to Han's nonsense.
Able to follow them
and follows them and gets the Empire there.
Yeah.
As they should be, to Bespin.
Okay.
But the armor, I mean, it's the armor, man.
The armor is what did it.
Come on. Like, it's one of the coolest fucking things in the series. The trilogy, for sure. Yeah.
So what's your favorite lightsaber fight from the original trilogy?
Oh, man, that's a tough one.
I'm throwing you right into the fire here on this one.
Overall lightsaber duel would be Empire, but I do enjoy the story element of Jedi.
Yeah.
Jedi, it's the story.
There's one reason why I hate the Jedi one.
It's the emotional crescendo. The music for that one is fucking the best, like music-wise. It's going to be Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
But Empire, like, I love that one, man. And I love that whole movie. And again, growing up from the earliest age, I loved Shredder. I loved the Green Power Ranger, and he's a bad guy. Vader, like
when Green Power Ranger turned good, you got mad.
Oh yeah, he was what a punk to sell out. So I loved Empire too as a kid because the fucking bad guys are winning, man. They're kicking the ass of all the fucking lousy rebels.
I just noticed taking that drink just now. You actually do have a big Jabba the Hutt figurine up there.
Yeah.
You do did Jabba the Hutt, don't you?
He's awesome. I also have the smaller episode 1 one where he's turned the other way.
Oh, yeah?
Too. I don't know where that's at. I think it's in a box somewhere. But
gotta get it out.
Yeah. Jabba's awesome, though. But yeah, no, for me, it's probably Empire. Overall,
the Luke and Vader.
Yeah, it's so good. I remember as a kid being in like school and I draw out that silhouette scene where Vader's at the top of the staircase when Luke first comes in. Like I would draw that out with like the long cylindrical but with the round edges. I don't know what you call that shape. But they have that for all the stairs and then Vader's silhouette because I couldn't draw worth a shit. So it was easy to do a Vader silhouette because all you're doing is a very basic shape. So I used to draw that all the time in school and stuff. So love that one because
that was what you sketched. There's always something that seems like even if you can't draw, I can't draw worth shit. Yeah. I used to draw my football team's logo, which is 2 letters. Laying on top of each other.
Something simple.
Very simple. Very simple. It's something that I would draw.
Yeah.
I couldn't even draw an X-wing, which is my favorite. I hesitate. I want to say ship, but man, I love the Millennium Falcon. I do.
And see me give me a fucking the Super Star Destroyer, man. That's the best ship in the entire galaxy.
Executor.
Executor. Yeah, I don't know if that's actually in the movies, or it's not ever said in the movies. But I don't know if that's actually canon, or if that was the book stuff that added that, though. But yeah, no, just Super Star Destroyer.
That's the one that crashes into the Death Star 2, right?
Yeah,
in the Battle of Endor.
Yeah, like I would throw the Falcon in the garbage to get me a Superstar Destroyer.
That ship's garbage. Oof, that hurts. And you throw that at me all the time.
And it's true. What a piece of junk. It's the first thing Luke says when he sees it. It's like seeing a freaking 1983 Yugo on the street. You're just like, oh my God, look at that horrible thing.
Except the Falcon's not that. It's something better.
Yeah, well, debatable. As an Empire fan, I can tell you the Millennium Falcon is a piece of shit. That whole plot revolves around that ship being a piece of shit.
In Empire Strikes Back, that is like a major plot point. Is that ship cannot get fixed
Constantly, yeah. Even before the Ugnaughts do their nasty
yeah, they
shit
couldn't get the hyperdrive to work. That's why they ended up on Bespin.
Yeah.
So the Ugnaughts actually did more to fix the hyperdrive than Han and Chewie.
Yeah, because they actually repaired it and then deactivated it, basically. So yeah, the Ugnaughts did their
Why'd
job.
they fix it in the first place?
Probably just in case they went and looked
I guess
and
that's
checked
true.
on it. You got to make sure it looks legit.
Yeah.
Or it could have been that they were actually fixing it, legit.
And then the Empire showed up.
Well, the Empire was already there, but maybe Lando.
They landed
maybe
before.
Lando even just like, hey, fix it, and then deactivate it.
Hey, fix it, and then turn it off, but make sure they can turn it back on.
Yeah.
See, Lando's the real hero of Empire Strikes Back.
Lando's awesome. I do
love Lando.
He's great.
He's a smooth operator, is who he is.
Yeah, he is. Colt 45.
Colt 45. So I don't think I said, but my favorite lightsaber duel is, as much as I love Episode 4, dude, Empire Strikes Back is so much better.
Yeah, it's a killer.
Like the lightsaber duel in that is just so good.
Yeah.
I'm with you on Episode 6. I actually do. I was saying it. I'm sorry, I was interrupting you. I actually do want to go see it if there is a super cut of just Luke versus Vader. Is there?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever watched that. I should watch
There's
that.
a super cut that's basically just every lightsaber duel uninterrupted.
Oh, really?
It's like a 20-minute video where it's just
that's cool.
Every lightsaber duel.
1 through 9?
Yeah, I don't know if 9 was out yet. Or yeah.
Hopefully they've gone back and added it and made a new video or something. But
yeah,
that'd be really cool to watch. I should watch that.
Yeah.
So you said your favorite lightsaber color is red, but what's your favorite hilt?
Vader's.
Oh
yeah, it's Vader across the board.
Yeah,
it's the best. Gotta love that handle, the red. It's everything about Vader's awesome.
I gotta say that I have not.
He's got the best TIE fighter. Everything. It's great.
His little curved wings.
Yeah, I've got the toy of that sitting down there.
Is it really?
It's not put together right now, but you can probably see the wings down there on the floor.
Oh, shit. Yeah, there it is right there. I can see. Son of a bitch.
my goal is to put it together and maybe like dangle it from a string up here.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I saw that for did you see that they released like a giant X-Wing?
Yeah, they did that like 10 years ago.
Yeah,
or so. The really big one.
They have a huge one of that, and I saw someone that was like, I'm out of shell space. I don't know what to do. So she hung it.
Yeah.
And then she has a giant TIE fighter as well.
Yeah.
And, of course, the TIE fighter is chasing the X-Wing. And I'm like, that's...
Can't shake it, sir.
I dug the space battles. I wonder if there's a uncut space battle video as well, because I dig this.
You don't get a space battle in Empire, really.
I know. That's one of the reasons why I didn't like Empire. And it also goes to the fact that I always root for the good guys, too.
Yeah.
Is the reason why
I could
Empire
see tiny little Peter getting all upset because the bad guys are winning.
Han, I love Han. I need Han to be back. And then
Carol
of course
says she got her grandson that X-Wing 10 years ago.
Nice.
That big one.
When are you gonna get
Mike
me one?
also says the Falcon is definitely past the manufacturer's warranty.
If it has a manufacturer's warranty, who knows what Lando did to it before Han even got his hands on it?
Yeah, it's true.
You know?
It's true.
I was just about to ask you a question. I can't remember what it is.
Sorry, I
you're good.
losing track of the chat. Just
You're good.
getting all tied up in Star Wars geekery here.
No, yeah, little Peter did not dig Han. Oh, tell the story about why that happened. Like why Han went into carbonite. I know you know it.
Oh, I mean,
you know it better than I do.
Like,
Harrison Ford's contract was 2 movies, right?
I'm not sure if it's that. I know he wanted the character to be killed, but Lucas wasn't really super into that. I think that like no matter what, they were going to free. Like that's just the way the movie had to play. But I think they did put it in a spot where like if Harrison was to get like hardball, they could have just wrote him out of it. Type thing if you had
it was easy. He was gone.
Yeah. So, but I don't know that there was actually a real contract dispute or not. It was more of just a thing. I thought that I know Harrison wanted him killed.
The story that I heard was that Harrison signed on for 2 movies, whereas Carrie Fisher and Mark Hamill signed on for 3. And then at the end of 2, there was some discussion about does he want to do a third? And they was up in the air and everything like that.
I think
Is
there
that
was,
not the
I think
case?
there was some debate because the thing is he was a nobody when he signed on to
Sure.
it too.
Same-
So it's like
yeah, all of them were, yeah.
Yeah, he was as much of a nobody as the other two. So
But
like
Carrie and Mark already had contracts in place for Return of the Jedi, whereas Harrison didn't, so he could ask for bigger bucks.
and I don't think it's that. I think what the way I understand it, it's been a long time since I looked into it, was more of that. I think Harrison may have been under contract as well, but there was a concern of like, do you really want to force a guy
Sure.
into a project if he's not really into it?
And yeah, I mean,
Like,
it's Harrison Ford.
What kind of performance are you going to get out
Sure.
of it? So even contracts are, I don't want to say meaningless
And he had-
when it comes to actors, but they're not. Again, do you really want to force someone into a role? Like,
Oh yeah, I get
so,
it. Yeah, I get it. Okay.
Yeah. And then I love that the carbon freezing chamber in general. Just
so good.
Such a cool. Everything about Empire, man, is just is the tops. And as I got older, I could appreciate Yoda, the whole Yoda portion and stuff, learning the Force. I've always loved
The
that
story.
I've always loved that element as I got older to appreciate like the discipline of like the Force and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
As a younger kid, I may have fast forwarded past some of the Yoda stuff.
Makes sense.
Until the Vader cave. That's I was definitely watching that.
I'd watch episode 5, and after he left for Dagobah, like after he left Hoth, I turned the movie off.
You just watch off.
That's basically the space battle that you could get.
Yeah.
The beginning is Luke gets attacked by the Wampa, Han comes and rescues him, puts him in the Tauntaun. You got the classic scene where Leia kisses Luke, and who's scruffy looking,
Yeah.
nerf herder and everything like
Yeah,
that.
and then Chewie laughing. We haven't even talked about Chewie.
Dude,
yet, have we?
no, I'm saving it because we're talking about favorite characters at the end here.
Oh, okay. Okay. As I say, man, we've gone a long way here.
We mentioned him at the very beginning, which is where he belongs, and then save the best for last. So you save him for the end. You've already talked about Vader, who's mid card.
Oh no, it's the best, sir. Whole thing is Vader.
Oh, episode 6. There's a character in episode 6 that you really dig too. It's the character has no lines, no name. It's just the Imperial Guard, right?
Oh yeah, the Red Royal Guard.
The Red Royal Guard.
Dude.
That's what they are.
Maybe the best Imperial in the entire thing.
So you were saying Snowtrooper was your favorite trooper.
Stormtrooper, yeah.
But what's your favorite Imperial?
Oh, the Imperial Royal Guard.
Imperial Royal
dude,
Guard.
They're sitting there guarding the most valuable and important person in the galaxy, and they've got sticks.
Yeah.
You telling me they're not going to be able to fuck someone up hardcore with those things?
Yeah.
Like they're absolute badass. Plus, that red is just the best. Like that's
Pretty
the cool.
cool,
That's
yeah.
the coolest fucking look in the whole Empire.
If you
outside of Vader doesn't count.
So-
He's kind of outside the Empire.
No, he's a main character.
He's like
Yeah.
he's like Tangent. Like I always
Yeah.
felt like, especially you see that in the first movie, you feel like because Vader takes orders from Tarkin and stuff.
Sure.
Because he's like under Palpatine.
Yeah.
But he's kind of outside of the realm of the actual Empire, and I don't think it is until after the first movie that he actually inserts himself more into the Empire. Not necessarily to be part of the Empire, but more of just like, I need these fucking resources. Like, this is my Star Destroyer now.
Yeah, well,
and
I think
I got this battalion of fucking troops and shit. Like,
Actually, a thought just occurred to me. Does that happen because of Skywalker? Like Luke? Like it becomes like, we
absolutely.
got to find Luke. We need those
no,
resources.
he wants it. It's not even I don't even think it comes
Well,
from the Emperor.
Palpatine wants it. Palpatine wants him
doesn't-
dead.
Yeah, he doesn't know.
Well, in episode 5, he does.
Later on, it's like I think the one that destroyed the Death Star is the son of Skywalker and stuff, and then Vader plays it coy and stuff because
Yeah.
I think Palpatine learns it, but I don't think he knows it all the way.
You mean to tell me at the beginning of episode 5, Palpatine has no clue that there's a Force user that destroyed the Death Star?
He doesn't know it's a Skywalker.
No.
Because
He figures that out. You think he figures that out and then calls Vader?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can get behind
And
that.
he's trying to
Okay.
test him to see, like, are you gonna? Because I think he knows that Vader knows too. So he's like trying to figure out, like, what's your game
He
here?
absolutely knows.
Yeah. So he's like,
Yeah.
what's your game here? Type thing. That's like the Sith.
And there's
game.
some canon stuff that used to exist between episodes 4 and 5 that made this a little bit more clear, but that was thrown out with the Disney purchase, right?
No, the comics where Boba Fett tells Vader the name of the rebel that blew up the Death Star is canon.
Oh, is
That's
it really?
a newer comic.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
That came
So
out since
Vader
Disney.
Vader does know that Luke is the one that blows up the Death Star. I mean, he's looking for him. This is the beginning crawl of episode 5.
Yeah.
This is fascinating. I've never really thought about this aspect of Star Wars, so I love that we're talking about this. So, Luke blows up the Death Star. Vader's the sole survivor, probably.
Yeah.
Gets back to the Empire, has no idea who did it.
Yeah.
Boba Fett tells him.
Boba Fett tracks the information down.
Yeah.
He doesn't know.
And then Vader puts himself into the military and starts gathering resources to start sending out probes to every corner of the galaxy to find this fucker.
Yeah, because he knows. Remember, at the very beginning, when they see the shield generator, he's like, "That's it. The rebels are there, and Skywalker's with them." So he
knows, and that's what he's looking for.
And that's all he cares about.
Is he wants to find Skywalker.
He doesn't care about beating the rebellion. All he cares about is...
That's an interesting thought, that all Vader wants is to find his son.
Yeah.
And then Palpatine comes on and is like, "Hey, by the way, I'm onto your game." Dude, that's an aspect of Empire I've never thought about before.
Yeah, it's like, I'm onto your game. He must be destroyed. And then Vader then plays him. Well, what if we turn him? Yeah. So, yeah, Vader's playing a game for sure.
Okay. Does Palpatine follow the rule of 2 for the Sith?
Technically, yes.
Like, does he? Like, because, like, I've always wondered that with, like, the rule of 2 kind of contradicts Empire Strikes Back. Or Empire Strikes Back contradicts the rule of 2,
Not
I should
necessarily.
say. Well, how is Luke going to join the Sith if there's only 2 of them?
Because the whole point of Luke joining Vader is then to kill Palpatine. Like, that's...
Well, no, I understand that aspect of it, but why would Palpatine agree to having Skywalker join them?
Because they're both sitting there going, "This kid's going to help me kill the other one."
That's
what
what
he
he
playing
thinks.
the same game.
That's what he thinks is that Luke is going to help him kill his dad. I guess that is exactly
and
what
Vader's
happens.
He'll help me kill the Emperor. Like they're both looking at the same prize fighter, going, "Man, this guy's going to be exactly what I fucking need." and I think that the interesting thing is they both know the rules, so they both probably figure the other one's playing the same. So
they're playing. They have the same hand.
They both know it too. It's not like this unknown where like Palpatine doesn't know what Vader's up to and Vader doesn't know what Palpatine's up to. Like, no, this like that conversation, when you really think of the depths of it, that conversation is really fucking interesting.
Oh, yeah, I've never really thought about that. But yeah, Palpatine says that in episode 6. It's like, "Join me and take your father's place." He'd have to strike him down and everything like that to do that.
Yeah.
And Darth Vader just stands by and is just like, "Yeah, bring it, bitch."
Yeah.
But at the same time, we know about the conversation on Endor that takes place where he's like, "Help me overthrow him. Help me destroy Palpatine."
Yeah.
And then
in Bespin.
Well, there's that one, but also Luke is saying it, like, "Help me, like, leave the Emperor, help me overthrow him," and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, Luke talking to Vader.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And then Vader stays loyal to Palpatine, and so he's like, "No, I'm going to take you to my master like I've been commanded."
Yeah.
But Mike says in the chat, Pals is going to trade up for the newer model.
Yeah. Less damage on that model.
A little bit less damage. I mean,
Quite a bit.
He hasn't been barbecued and 3 limbs chopped off.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. He's lost one hand.
One hand.
But that's it.
I mean, he lost a robotic hand. That's
what? No, he lost a hand.
Oh, Luke.
Yeah, Luke.
I was thinking Vader.
No.
He lost a hand twice. Let's think about that for a second. He lost the same hand twice. What an incompetent
Vader?
What an incompetent moron.
I mean, what are the odds there? If Luke's going to cut something off, chances are he's cutting off an artificial limb.
Well, Vader lost both hands, right?
Yes.
Like, when Obi-Wan cuts him down, he takes both legs and one arm.
Yeah.
And it's the arm that Dooku didn't cut off.
Yeah.
So he lost both hands.
He's more machine now than man.
Exactly.
Twisted and evil.
So he literally had robotic limbs, all 4.
Yeah.
Just to some extent on the limb, there was robotics there at the end.
Yeah.
Whether it's the 2 legs or
just
a hand,
the tip,
or the one arm that Obi-Wan takes is like above the elbow, isn't it?
No, the Dooku one is.
The Dooku one's above the elbow.
Yeah, because remember he has the whole arm.
Yeah,
in the wedding
arm,
scene,
and that's the arm that's left after Obi-Wan chops him. Right? He doesn't leave a human arm.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. So. Ugh.
Yeah.
So he lost the same arm twice. I mean, there was
no way for him to not lose
one of them twice.
Yeah, exactly. It's all good. It's easy to replace.
Luke going postal when Vader threatens Leia is one of my favorite parts of Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, me too. And mostly for me, though, like it's the emotion and it's the music.
We haven't even talked about the music. So you're a huge John Williams fan.
Yes.
Which soundtrack? Which one is better? Which score is better?
Rank them. You can't count 4 because the question comes into is like what, and this is not even past the original trilogy. This gets into the realm of like what does each score bring? Because everything brings something. Sure. But the first one you can't count because it lays the groundwork, right? So like, what are you going to give it credit for? The Force theme, the opening theme, like everything that every other one uses. Like I've always felt that one's unfair to try to compare because it's like I don't know.
So you've obviously listened to the scores a lot more than I have. I don't think
Hundreds of times.
I don't think I've ever sat down and listened to episode 4's score all the way through. I have listened to the Force theme and the opening crawl. You know, what is that called?
The main title.
The main title. I've listened to that before, but I don't think I've ever sat down because you actually listen to you'll turn on Star Wars Episode 5 and you'll listen to it from start to finish.
I've got playlists for prequels, sequels, original. I've got
all of them. So I don't know, like the little individual music in Episode 4 like there is in 5 and 6. Is there a lot of John Williams present aside from those couple songs?
Oh yeah, Leia's theme.
Okay.
I mean, one of my all-time favorite moments for music outside of top 5 would be the Binary Sunset.
Oh yeah.
The music there is incredible. The final victorious theme for the throne room. Is big.
Where they snub my boy hardcore. It's okay. Leia makes up for it, so it's all right.
He doesn't deserve a medal. He's just
stop it.
He's just a co-pilot. He's just a co-pilot.
How dare you?
If you start giving co-pilots medals, soon the droids have to get medals, and then the ship itself that has an AI needs a medal, and it perpetuates into. I mean, you know, if a Star Destroyer destroys a ship, and a rebel ship as it should, the captain gets the medal. You don't give medals to all 100,000 people on that goddamn thing.
Give a medal to the gunner, maybe, who shot the shot.
Give him a little bonus, maybe, is all. Go give Chewie an extra fucking drumstick of a fucking bird.
Let him go get an extra. Give him a coupon for an extra blue milk in the calf.
Give him some nasty animal hanging from a tree for him to munch on.
Aww.
But yeah, no. So I think that the strengths of the first one, I don't count the main title theme just because they all have it. So
that's
like
Star Wars.
Yeah, it's the original, and it showed up in 4 to begin with. But like, you can't count that. Just like I wouldn't give the first Bond, the credit for the Bond theme. Like, no,
sure.
that doesn't work. I think the Leia's theme, the Binary Sunset, are probably the MVPs for 4.
Is that the Binary Sunset? That is different than the Force theme.
That's the Force theme, basically,
that is the
but
Force
it's done
theme.
Very big, grandiose,
a little bit different than the regular Force theme.
The moment as well is there,
sure.
Right? It's the and then Empire. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think. Let me Cause see, Return of the Jedi, it's the Luke thing when he strikes out.
When he goes after Darth Vader like hardcore, because Vader says, "We'll go after your sister instead," and there's a chorus with it, and the orchestra swells and everything, and Luke is just going full dark side on him.
I knew I was blanking completely. Yoda's theme and the Imperial March.
Are
Empire.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, I mean, come on. I mean, the Imperial March is still probably the greatest piece of music to come out of Star Wars. Like,
it's probably more recognizable than the main theme.
Yeah, not greatest, most iconic.
Yes.
Because like greatest, I would actually hold, and I don't know, that'd be a hard one. But those are your big MVPs. You also have the love theme for Han and Leia.
Yeah.
In that one, I mean, you've got 3 really big. Oh, the asteroid field.
Oh yeah,
such a killer.
So Empire Strikes Back is your favorite score?
I don't know about that. Let's see what Return of the Jedi. So that one's gonna.
I'm putting Tad on the spot here just for you folks.
Yeah, you've done it twice now.
I know.
There we go.
I'm
glad that Spotify. I'm glad Spotify knew I was talking about Return of the Jedi and not some other thing. Let's see.
Carol says
you've got Luke and Leia's theme.
Yeah.
Showing up in Return of the Jedi for the first time. The Parade of the Ewoks, if you like horror movies. The Emperor's theme is fucking killer. The choral orchestra, like chanting, which was one of my favorite music things too, is because you get that with the Emperor. It's established there in the early part of the movie
where he arrives on the Death Star.
Yeah, it's the first time you really hear choral vocals in Star Wars. Yes, the prequels have it as well, but we're talking the original trilogy.
Original trilogy when it came out.
And then when Luke strikes out, guess what you're hearing?
Again.
You're hearing choral, which you've now established in people's brain means dark side.
Yep.
Because Luke is
absolutely channeling the dark side there.
Oh, yeah.
100%. Like, there's no debating that.
Everyone's saying Imperial March, and I totally see where most people would pick that as their favorite.
Yeah.
And then for me, the finale,
the ending with after the funeral and everything, and they're celebrating.
Yeah, like and I will say, I know older fans may poo-poo me, but I think the newer one is far superior to the stupid Ewok one, which I grew up on.
Yeah,
that's the one I grew up on. But the one that's in the '97 remasters, it feels huge. It feels grand. It feels like it's a whole galaxy celebrating. Like it's just bigger and more triumphant. It's better than just a local set of Ewoks like singing a song to celebrate. So I love the final there. In terms of ranking them, man, it's tough because like there's like big moment. I feel like Empire doesn't have as many of like the big moments. Like it doesn't have the binary sunset. It doesn't have the Luke beating down Vader. It doesn't really have that.
The carbonite scene? That's got a pretty big moment there for the music.
Yeah, but I think Empire's strength is more those two, like introducing Yoda's theme and the Imperial March. Like that's huge.
Sure.
And Imperial March is all over the movie too.
It's everywhere.
They knew they had something there. Yeah. So, and to this day, I'm sure when you go to Disneyland, I'm sure you're going to hear the Imperial March.
Wherever Vader's, well, they don't have Vader. They have Kylo Ren, so unfortunately.
Carol says March and Vader breathing gives me chills every time, and sometimes brings tears of joy. Yeah. So yeah, for music wise for me, it's really hard to rank them because they all have their strengths. Like,
so which one are you saying is your favorite?
I don't think I'm
putting you on the spot, sir. Come on.
I can.
You can't not give me one.
I don't know.
Give me one.
I don't know if I can.
Right now, what's your favorite? Just right now.
The problem is too that I haven't been listening to Star Wars. It's been a couple months since I've.
So if you were going to turn one on after I leave today, which one is it going to be? Come on, I'm giving you like 3 different questions. You got to answer at least one of them.
Well, I'm trying to think of what it would be. I don't know.
You can do it.
Oh man.
Do it.
Good old Palpatine, the hero of the story.
No. No.
Honestly, I probably listen to Return of the Jedi more than any of the others.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to shift and get you off the hot seat here, but probably put you right back onto another hot seat for some fans. You've said this before, and I want to get it on record here. You have 0 problems with any of the changes made in 97 or after.
True. I have a few that it took me a little bit of time to come around to.
Okay.
But I have no problems with any of them.
Do you want to elaborate on that?
Like in what way?
Like what does it come down to? Like, I know you just said it. You had a problem with a few for a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, you told me this just within the last month. The reason why you don't have any problems with any of the changes anymore is because of Lucas.
Yeah, it's ultimately his vision. And if he wants to go play with, Francis Ford Coppola just recut Godfather 3. It's been out for 30 years. Like,
sure.
Good on him. Like it's his movie. If
it's his.
Like, Blade Runner has 7 fucking versions of that. Like, I have
Sure.
no problem with the filmmakers going back and doing their thing. And
we got extended versions of the Lord of the Rings and everything.
Yeah, and there's just nothing that really. I don't know. Nothing that still bothers me today about those. I went and saw them in 97. It was the first time I ever saw them on the big screen. I'd worn out 2 sets of VHS tapes by that point. Just watching them constantly. I knew every frame of the movies by the time the 97 ones came out. So I knew every little thing that changed. And I don't think that then a whole lot bothered me. It was probably more the 2004 Blu-ray. There's a couple things that changed that bothered me a tiny bit, but I don't like the probably the most controversial one is the Han shooting first shit. Like, I don't care. None of that matters.
Sure.
Like, I see where Lucas is coming from. He's going to end up with the princess. This is a fucking fairy tale. The guy that ends up with the princess can't just be gunning people down. Even though I would say you don't even need Greedo to shoot first because with what Greedo's saying, he's going to shoot.
It's like the self-defense at that point kind of thing. Yeah.
So I can kind of see Mike saying I can't stand Han stepping on Jabba. It's silly. A real gangster wouldn't accept literally being walked over. And I would say the only thing that slightly bothers me about that is there's nothing in that scene that hasn't already been conveyed.
Yeah.
Like when you actually watch that scene,
which is why they cut it out.
Yeah, exactly. That's why. Well,
they also cut it out because of Jabba.
Yeah. They knew they didn't want him to be a human wearing a fucking fur coat.
Yeah.
But that's the main. But I mean, ultimately, it does add Boba Fett into the first movie, which
This is true.
is a great improvement. There.
Now, if my my grandkids watch it for the first time, they will be seeing Boba Fett in Episode 4.
Yeah, and that's the thing is I ultimately look at is none of it really bothers me, and I could see where it can bother some people.
Sure.
But I will say, even though I am younger and I wasn't born when the movies came out, again, I watched them so much that I had every frame memorized. So it's like before those ever came out. So when they came out, I feel like I had just as much of an investment in them as anyone else, and nothing really bothered me that heavily in 97 really.
Sure.
Like I said, there was even some stuff that was an improvement to me, like the Ewok song being, because I didn't hate the Ewok song, but it always just felt like, oh, that cool, you got your little celebration on this one little thing,
This
but
is
then
galaxy wide,
yeah,
though.
to expand it out and go, this is galaxy wide, and that it feels bigger, it feels grander, all that kind of stuff.
I feel like there was a lot of changes made that improved, quality changes. That's not what the phrase I'm looking for. Quality of life fixes, where it's just like adding the ring to the Death Star exploding.
Yeah,
That does absolutely nothing to change
that
movie for me, but it looks cooler.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
But I know people that bothered.
Yeah.
When it came out in 2004 and everything was that 97 or 2004 for that?
97.
It was 97. I got a confession. I got to be careful because I've never seen the Star Wars in theaters. I've never seen 4, 5, or 6 in theaters.
In theaters, yeah, but you've seen the 97 remasters though.
That's actually the VHS that I had.
Yeah, with the either gold or silver.
Gold or
cases.
silver.
Yeah.
Widescreen or full screen. We had the gold, which was full screen because my dad hated widescreen.
Everyone did.
Yeah.
I had the gold one.
Which is funny because there was stuff that was missed.
Oh, absolutely.
On
yeah.
the side
you don't
of
see
it.
the fucking sand person in 4.
No.
When he's like, oh yeah, I can see some banthas. Oh, I can see a sand person right there. Like,
You don't see
it
him.
wasn't until DVD when I started getting to widescreen that I saw that. I'm like, holy shit, you actually can see a Tusken Raider. Like,
Scruffy looking. Yes, it says scruffy looking nerf herder behind me. Yes, it does.
And then Mike does say you're due for a haircut.
Yes.
Carol says the who shot first verbiage drives me nuts. Me too, because to me again it doesn't really matter. Like I think people that try to build it up to be in this whole like giant character changing thing for Han Solo, like for one, I don't think it does, and for two, even if it did, I think you're wrong that if you think that Han Solo was just this like absolute scallywag, that for one, I don't think he did. But even if it did, is that really who
you want to root for?
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
we as Dark Tower fans, coming from Stephen King's verse and everything like that, know what it's like to root for a kind of a bad guy.
Yeah.
Having that in Star Wars, which is supposed to be the struggle of good versus evil, it's really hard to have someone like Han shot first on the good side. That's kind of like...
And the other big thing is like, so okay, again, when Lucas was developing this stuff, he was getting really sick of the gray hat mentality where everything was an anti-hero, everyone was gray hats. There was no such thing as black and white hats anymore. So he's like, fuck it, I'm gonna make a goddamn fairy tale and I'm setting it in space.
Yeah.
So what that means is, for the most part, you're gonna have a little bit of character development. For the most part, you have white hats and black hats. And
there's not a lot of gray characters in the middle in the original three.
Purposely, like he wanted Star Wars to be a thing where he wanted to prove. Well, I don't even know if he knew, but his thought was, let's just throw something that's completely opposite of everything else that's out there right now. Instead of fucking Dirty Harry that just guns people down, let's make fucking a goddamn fairy tale with a damsel in distress, even though she's not a damsel in distress. The reluctant hero, like all that stuff. So, like, in that vein, like, Solo being this, like, gray hat guy doesn't fit Lucas's interpretation of why he made the movies. And... I don't know. It was probably more of an oversight. As much of a chaos as that fourth movie was making, like, if he would have thought about it further, it probably would have been filmed, a different way. Like, so I don't know. It's
I think you're right too. That if you go back and actually listen to what Greedo is saying, dude, he's about to kill Han.
Yeah.
Like the whole Han shot first thing and everything like that, dude. That's like someone having a gun on you, and he's like, well. It's been fun chatting with you, but I think it's time, and then you shoot him under the table. Yeah. Like, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Like, Han shooting first does not change the character that much.
No.
But I get where Lucas is coming from changing it, because there are people who will not understand that, because after all, Star Wars is a kids.
Because for instance, one of my favorite stories is Lucas actually reached out to a child psychologist as they were developing Episode 5, and he's like, hey, I'm about to have the main villain of the story turn out to be the dad of the main hero. Like, how are kids going to process this? Like, is this going to be detrimental to young people that are going to be watching this movie?
Yeah.
And the person told him, like, no, they'll all just deny it. And to the point where he kept that in mind, and that's the only reason that Yoda shows up in Return of the Jedi. Because he remembered that, like, most kids are going to not believe it's true. They're just going to say, no, that's a lie.
They need confirmation.
And so that's the only reason. Otherwise, Yoda doesn't exist in Episode 6. He would have been a one movie, except for maybe the Force Ghost. Probably would have been the only. And even then, if they don't have him dying, do you actually show the Force Ghost, or do you just like? It's hard to say. Maybe Yoda doesn't exist in Episode 6 altogether. If not, because Lucas ultimately knew, I need to reiterate that this is true, and the best way to do that is that scene with Yoda. So
is the confirmation from the person who actually knew his dad, because you don't only get it from Yoda, you also get it from Obi-Wan as well. Yoda passes away and everything like that, and we always have to say
good night, sweet prince,
for him. But
good night, sweet Force Goblin.
Sweet Force Goblin. But we also get Obi-Wan and Luke's conversation about it and everything like that, and that's where Luke comes.
And
in
that's some of the best stuff.
Yeah, dude, it's fantastic.
I love that stuff in the movie.
Yeah,
like, and I mean, it's hard to say. I don't get into the whole debates about what did Lucas know when. I think there's evidence both directions, because there's like, oh, he just made a lot of the shit up as he went along, and like he didn't know that Luke and Vader would be father and son. He didn't know that up front. But it's like, well, then why is, like, when you translate Darth Vader, it's basically Dark Father? Like, it's just I don't know.
It's like, wait,
I don't like getting into those debates, because I do know that as artists will evolve over time. Sure. So I don't think he had the entire thing solidified, but I do know that he had probably a lot of stuff.
But as someone who has written stuff before, we can all verify that when you write something and put it out there, you can always look back to it and go, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Let me build off of that.
There's always time to revise.
I said that. Let me build off of that, kind of thing. And I see that all the time with authors, with movie directors and people like that. They'll put something out there in their first film, and then they're like, I'm going to build off of that. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I think Lucas is one of the best examples of it working.
Yeah.
Is that it very well could be one of those cases. I don't know if it is or not.
Yeah.
And I don't care. I love Star Wars regardless.
And I do. And I love it. And I think that, like, if nothing else, I'm not going to speak too much into the sequels right now, but I will say there's a lot of people that are looking now retroactively and realizing that Lucas was a fucking master.
Yeah.
And he was doing shit that a lot of other people, some of the best people in Hollywood, are having a hard time doing.
Yeah.
Like, yes, he had people giving him some guff. I mean, honestly, Lucas only made one absolute resounding that nobody bitched about, and it was Star Wars.
Yeah.
People bitched about Empire. It's not the same. This is nothing like the last movie I saw.
Yeah.
People bitched about Jedi. Oh, it's just another Death Star, and like, oh, they got fucking dumb Ewoks that are too cute, and like, and then the prequels, we don't even have to get into how much bitching there was there.
Oh my God.
So it's just like, people are gonna bitch, unfortunately, but like, yeah, he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I said, over time, there's no change that bothers me, really.
Yeah.
Like, some of them I really enjoy too. Like I said, the final song is incredible. Also, Hayden Christensen instead of Sebastian Shaw. Sebastian Shaw, even as a fucking young kid, dude, I did not like him.
Who's that guy?
Because
I remember that. The very first time I watched that, I was probably like 6 years old when I finally got through all three movies, was like consciously aware of the ongoing plot between the three movies, everything like that. And I remember getting to the Force Ghost, and I remember going, who's that guy?
And it wasn't that. Like, I figured, oh, that's probably Anakin Skywalker. But, like, to me, I just didn't. And this sounds terrible because it's like the actor's passed away. He was an older guy. I didn't like him. He didn't look like Luke Skywalker. He didn't look like a soldier. He didn't look
like the best fighter pilot in the galaxy.
No, he looked like a fucking farmer. Like, yes,
he looked like Uncle Ben.
Yeah, exactly, Uncle Owen.
Uncle Owen. Yeah. Sorry.
So like, yeah, technically at the time, maybe we all thought Uncle Owen and and Anakin were brothers. In that case, maybe that makes sense. But dude, I hated it. Like, because I will say, Alec Guinness, older guy. So it's not an age thing, because Alec Guinness, there's something about him you look at and you're like, this is a bad motherfucker.
He can lay it down.
This is a dude that's fucking fought in wars. This is a dude that, when he's in the bar and he's taking off fucking Ponda Baba's arm, like he's a fucking badass, and it fits with him for some reason. Sebastian Shaw,
the very first shot of Obi-Wan is scaring off one of the baddest things we've seen so far in Sand People.
Yeah,
like he comes out making an ungodly noise.
Yeah.
And everything, and scares off the Sand People. Dude, that's a badass right there.
Yeah.
There's only one kind of thing that could send the Sand People running.
But even just the actor, there's just a look about him.
There's a presence, yes.
Like I could feel it in my head where you could look at him and almost rewind the years and like see a fucking badass like Luke Skywalker. Sebastian Shaw is not that.
No, you couldn't see
He's
that.
not
Yeah.
that.
I loved.
Whereas Hayden,
I actually cheered out loud when Hayden got added.
yeah, because it's like he looks like Luke Skywalker. He looks like, and I mean, even outside of, let's say the prequels don't exist, he looks like someone that would be a starfighter pilot.
Yeah.
He looks like someone that would throw down some fucking cool ass lightsaber fights. Like
Yeah.
he has that look. He looks like everything they had built him up.
Mm-hmm.
And again, this is fucking almost a decade before the prequels came out. Not a full decade, but because 99. But this is like in the early 90s. I was just like, no,
what is this?
He just doesn't work for me.
I never.
I threw the toy away. I had
Yeah.
this. No, just not. It never did it for me.
Okay.
So I really love that change. The other one you just reminded me of is the Obi-Wan changing the sound, because like in the original, it's basically like a fucking Hanna-Barbera like dinosaur sound that Obi-Wan makes, and it's
Yeah.
just like almost cringy. Just how
the crate dragon noise or whatever.
yeah, so
it is.
they adapted that a few times now, because that
Yeah.
changed into the Blu-rays. It changed a bit too.
Yes, it
So I'm okay. Yeah, I'm okay with most of them for sure. All of them over time. It took me a little bit of time on some. But
There's one change that bothered me when I first saw it, but now I think it's one of the best things that's ever been changed, and that's the singing scene at Jabba's palace in episode 6.
that's the controversial one. People hate that one.
The
for
people,
some reason.
I didn't like it at first. I thought it was over the top. I thought it was way too CGI'd, and the whole like singing with the drool in the mouth like wide open in front of the camera. I thought it was just too much. Adding little things here and there, fixing little things here and there, I thought that was the way to go. But then I realized, I'm like, fuck, that is Star Wars. Like, that's,
Yeah,
I'm glad, because then I get a creature that I've never seen before.
Yeah.
There's a new species there, and I love that shit.
Yeah. And honestly, Ola did not look good in the original. Like
No.
when they cut out like a lot of the Wampas because they didn't look good. I looked at Jedi a lot as a kid where I'm like, how did this make it in?
Yeah.
Like she just looks so much like a puppet that it's
Yeah.
just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It didn't look great.
But the guy is the one I'm talking about.
Yeah. No, I know.
What's his name?
But I'm just saying, Ola like is
That's the
because she
that's
was
the
there.
one that has like the longer.
Yeah, she's the one that was there
Yeah.
before and after, and I'm just saying like before.
Oh yeah, it was not great. Like if you go back and watch like the original, like they have the DVD one where it came out and it had the original and the
Both versions.
the both versions,
Mm-hmm.
and you go watch the original. There's some stuff in there that you look at and you just go, ooh.
Yeah, and it's weird because it's the third movie, so they're. I mean, I wouldn't say that would have a massive budget because Lucas is self-financing, but
Yeah.
it just feels like, wait, how is that like?
Max Rebo, that's his name. Thanks,
Max, no, Max is the blue guy.
Oh, that's the blue guy.
Yeah, he's the keyboardist. Oh,
Keyboardist.
I thought I had something up there. No, I have the gonk.
Where is he?
I don't. It was the bumper sticker. I thought I had a bumper sticker with
Oh
Max
no,
Rebo
Gonk.
band.
Gonk, if you love Star Wars, that's a great bumper.
Yeah, because I love the gonk droid.
Gonk.
Gonk's one of my favorites.
Gonk.
Yeah, but no, yeah, that's one that some people really trash on. But I don't mind it. I mean,
Yeah.
I listen to the scores, and that's the one that's in there for the most part. So, no, yeah.
Oh, you committed a blasphemy, sir. I just realized you committed a blasphemy. You said episode 4 doesn't have any original music that can be counted. Dude, what about the Cantina song? Sir.
Yeah, I mean,
Do, 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 do,
I
do,
very,
do,
very
do,
rarely am I listening to that for pleasure.
Yeah, it's
no,
great.
Binary Sunset and Leia's theme
Oh, the Cantina song is great.
are the
Come on.
are the MVPs. For,
Come on, Tad. Say it. Say it with me. Say Cantina song is great.
No,
on, Ted.
it's okay.
It's great.
It's okay.
Say it's great.
I'm not gonna.
Come on.
I don't listen to it for pleasure very often. Now the second one, that's a little bit more swinging and
Yeah.
whatever. I enjoy that one a bit more. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, indeed.
I'm
Oh
gonna
man,
get sued by Disney, dude.
Can you imagine just like working like in that like canteen in Disney where you're just listening to that on a loop constantly?
Something makes me go crazy.
No, and the thing is I'm not saying that it's bad. I will say it's not one of my favorite parts.
That
of that
is
score.
iconic, though.
Oh,
you
yeah.
hear that, you know what that is.
Oh no, for sure,
So.
for sure. And then, like I said, I'm not
Okay.
even saying that I hate it. It's just,
Yeah, Carol says in the chat, iconic with an exclamation point. Yes.
yeah, no. It's just not as enjoyable because ultimately
Sure.
it's not John Williams being John Williams, right? It's music that's in the world, so it's like
Yeah.
it should sound like something strange and out of this world. But like, I'm more of like Johnny's the man.
Oh,
So.
you love John Williams.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
like
Absolutely.
love him.
Absolutely.
Did you see that the you sent me and my wife and my daughter to Nightmare Before Christmas with the symphony.
Yeah.
Did you see that they're doing Return of the Jedi with it?
Yeah, for the 40-year anniversary.
It just recently happened, right? It's coming up that they're doing.
No, it just happened. It was a month ago. The anniversary. The anniversary was a month ago. Yeah, tomorrow.
And it was in theaters, but I missed a shot to go.
Yeah,
I will say, Ted, we need to set down a time where I can go see those in theaters. If they come out in theaters,
dude,
I need to go see
I've
them.
said it for a long time. Every 5 to 10 years, they should just recycle the original Star Wars. Oh, the original 6 in theaters, because every fucking kid should have an opportunity to see it. Because like I said, by the time they actually came out in 97, I would have been 11 or 12, depending on when it came out. And I think they spread over that year, so it would have been both ages. I knew every frame of the movie, but still, it was a different fucking experience to finally see it on the big screen. And ever since then, I'm like, every kid should have that opportunity. The only other one that I absolutely think it has to be is Jurassic Park. Yeah. Every kid should be able to go see the original Jurassic Park on the big screen.
Absolutely.
Because that was transformative for me. And I think anyone would.
I remember walking through the theater when Jurassic Park was in theaters. I was going to see something else. I don't remember what it was. Because I didn't see Jurassic Park until VHS.
Yeah.
So I haven't seen it in theaters. But I remember walking through the theater, haven't seen Jurassic Park, and I just hear the boom.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What was that? And then I saw the movie later on VHS, and I'm like, oh, that's what that was. Like, holy shit. Like, damn, how loud did they have that turned up?
Yeah.
But, yeah, I've never seen Jurassic Park on the big screen either.
And even that little tangent ties in, because ultimately it was Terminator 2, where they're like, they were able to point to that and go, see, Spielberg, we want to do some dinosaurs computer as well as practical. Yeah. It's like, no way. He's like, well, look at Terminator 2, what they did a few years ago. And he's like, okay, maybe. And he let him do it, and they did some CG there. That is what Lucas looked at and went, okay, it's about time I could start working on my next set
on the prequels,
because the technology's evolving enough to do what I would want to do.
Absolutely.
So it's like Terminator 2 inspired a bit of Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park fully inspired Lucas, because I think Lucas went in and started writing the prequels in like 94.
Yeah,
is when he finally went into the room to start putting pen to paper and try to figure out what he wanted to do. So it's like that's only a year after Jurassic Park. So it's like, and then 97 was like, okay, it's like the dress rehearsal. It's like, hey, I've got some things I kind of want to, I'm not happy with, so let's mix it up and let's throw it back out in theaters and shit. And like, it's just, and then that rolls into 97 into the prequels, and there you go. It's just kind of funny, the chain reaction that happened. So
Carol says 11 and 96. Wow, way to go, Ted.
I think so. Or no, in 97.
You turned 11 in 96. You turned 12 in 97.
Yeah, they came out in 97. So I would have been 11 or 12, depending on...
it would have been 11, because it came out in the summer.
No, they spread throughout.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, because they all came out in 1 year. They didn't drop them all at one time.
Right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, so that would have been... I bet you Jedi was probably 12 by the time that one actually hit theaters. I think it was a little bit later in the year. So, yeah. I even remember, like, in the theaters for that one, like, they I don't know if they did it digitally, but they put more like slime on Jabba's lips, and it was just like, now I couldn't recognize it, but then I was just like, he's got more slime on him. Like, it was just because I knew every fucking frame, dude. Like I said, I wore out. I was on my third set of VHSs by that point. It was just, I had seen it, but big screen. It should be a thing. Like, it's a travesty that kids today can't see Star Wars on the big screen.
So I've seen episode 1. I saw episode 2 in theaters with you.
Yeah.
That's right after we became friends, as our junior year episode 2 came out. And we saw it during the summer of 2002.
Yeah, 02 for...
02. And then in 05, when episode 3 came out, we saw it 3 times within 24 hours together.
Yeah.
And then we went and saw episode 7, 8, and 9 together. Mm-hmm. So I missed episode 1 in theaters. And actually I went with our friend Brian and went and saw it in 3D.
Oh, okay.
Wait, was that with Brian? No, it was Steve. Brian or Steve, one of the two. I went and saw it in 3D. So the only way I've seen episode 1 on the big screen is in 3D.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, that was pretty cool to see some of that stuff in 3D.
The pod racing.
The pod racing was amazing. I know you're not a huge fan of 3D.
No.
But so I think that needs to go. That's got to go on my bucket list. I got to be able to see episode 4, 5, and 6 in theaters.
Yeah. Carol also said earlier, side note, does that say scruffy looking nerf herder behind Peter?
Yeah, I said that.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I missed that.
Yeah, because that's when you said, Mike says that I need a haircut.
Yeah, I saw that. I think I missed Carol's message till
Yeah.
just now.
Yes, it does say scruffy looking Nerf herder right there.
I
I probably pointed way high. Right
we're
there.
getting
way high.
we're getting late into the episode. You haven't really talked about Chewie yet.
So the big thing I'm saving for Chewbacca is this is going to be kind of a tease for us. Is that when we do talk about the sequels, there is one of the worst things that Todd's ever done to me is about Chewbacca. I think did I tell the story already?
I don't know. Maybe
Where you played that prank on me about Chewbacca?
I don't know if we told it on here. Or not,
but yeah, the reason I love Chewbacca so much is that he is just so. He's what I am. He's. I'll fight. I'll do everything I can to protect my friends and everything like that. But then also at the same time, dude is such a sarcastic asshole. Like, like the laughing at Han when he gets called a scruffy-looking nerf herder.
Yeah.
If that's not a best friend, I don't know what is. You know?
yeah,
Like, that's exactly who he is. So I always loved Chewbacca. Even as a kid, I wanted a Chewbacca. I want a Wookiee so I can have a piggyback ride and he could take me everywhere. And
yeah,
and you know, like I could play with him and hug him, and he's just so furry and just like he's a big dog. You know, is what the kind of thing that a little kid would think of. You know, his roar even is like not scary, except when he yells at the mouse droid. That's like the only time that
he is a dog, right?
It's true. He's patterned off of Lucas's dog, right?
Yeah, there's one dog. It's probably the most iconic dog in human history. It inspired both Chewbacca and Indiana Jones because its name was Indiana.
A dog? You're named after a dog?
Yeah, so that's the story ultimately. Is that's where Lucas
Yeah.
came up with the idea. Is he had this? I think it was a Malamute named Indiana, and he would drive around with it singing in his passenger seat. So that was like the idea where he's just like, dude, what if I just made like a giant fucking dog as the co-pilot?
And
for
that's
this
where
guy?
Chewbacca was born.
Yeah, and then inspired Indiana Jones's name. It's like, dude, what a dog!
What a dog
to inspire
What a dog.
two things there.
And I do love Indiana Jones too, but Chewbacca, the co-pilot, he gets no respect, gets no medal.
No medal, yeah.
I noticed that as a kid, and I'm like, why doesn't Chewbacca get a medal? This is bullshit, kind
Yeah.
of thing. Like, he was right there with Han flying the Falcon. It takes two people.
One side note, because Chewbacca reminded me of the canteen. I just want to mention, just as a thing, the Episode 4 in the larger context is way more brutal than any other Star Wars movie.
We got an arm getting chopped off.
The arm getting chopped off with blood.
Yeah.
You don't see blood in Star Wars very often. And then the roasted Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen.
Oh my gosh.
When you think about it, I know it was the first movie and they didn't really maybe know the full tone, but when you now take a step back and you zoom in on just that one movie, Jesus Christ, man.
I mean, when you compare it to 4, 5, and 6, when you get to some of the other ones, the sequels and the prequels, there are some pretty brutal stuff in those.
I don't know,
Dude,
man.
you get a severed head in front of a child. His dad's head gets chopped off.
You only see a slight bit of the shadow. You don't really see like the head itself.
His head gets chopped off. You see it get chopped off. It goes flopping across the battlefield.
The helmet.
And then the son comes and picks it up.
The helmet.
You say that horrible thing every time I bring this up, is that you think that when he picks up the helmet, the head should have fallen out.
Well, yeah, except that you see it fly out. If you look at the shadow, you see.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
You see the head come out.
But still.
And then a billion died in Alderaan. Like a lot.
A few billion. Nice.
I mean, it isn't as like overtly like holy shit. We just watched like they didn't go in and show like Sarah Connor and see the whole playground roasting or anything.
Yeah.
But it's just holy shit. And you mentioning Chewie just for some reason zoomed me into that, but just that's a weird context when you really look at it, because the rest of the series is pretty consistent with its tone. But that one movie is like, holy shit. Like, you just saw their fried skeletons. You don't just see, like, the house burning and then, like, you let the kids imagine that, Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru are in there. No, you see their skeletons and the poses that they're in. The poses they're in, too. Like, the one's down on their face. The other one's, like, sprawled out on the shit in the back.
Laying on the container.
Holy fuck, dude.
Yeah. It's pretty brutal.
It is brutal. And like I say, we see some hands and stuff, but like never blood. The only other hint of blood you really see is Darth Maul. You see a slight spray of blood when he gets hit in the midsection.
You get the blood in the newer movies there's blood, because there's the bloody handprint that goes on Finn's.
Yeah, because they needed something to identify him from all the others. But no, so there's a little bit of blood.
Marking him as an Uruk-hai.
Yeah, there's a little bit, but not like a freaking whole puddle of blood next to a severed limb.
Oh, yeah, Mike says all the dead Jawas.
Oh yeah, and then get thrown in the
they
fire.
burn him. Yeah.
Yeah, 3PO burning it.
Dude, episode 4 is a bloodbath, isn't it? Holy shit!
It really is.
All those rebels at the beginning get gunned down right in front of us.
Yeah, that's
You
get
see a
fucked.
guy get fucking choked out. Like you hear bones crack and everything.
Yeah,
Like he's not just choking and going to sleep.
and
No,
then throws him.
yeah,
And,
he's dead. That guy's dead.
He's big dead. And
He's
then,
big dead.
And then all the pilots getting wasted in the end of the movie. Like there's
And then the Death Star
and
blowing
R2
up.
R2 getting incinerated.
The Death Star blows up, killing hundreds of thousands of evil people.
Contractors and innocent people just doing their work to build this thing, right?
To support an evil dictatorship, fascist government, enslaving thousands and billions of people.
Oh man, we're getting close to wrap time, but
Yeah,
I will say you may have more, but I just want to at least say this will not be the last time we talk about Star Wars. This won't be the last time we talk about the original trilogy.
This is just a
tip of the iceberg,
a toe dip in the pool that is Star Wars.
Yeah.
This is basically we just wanted to freestyle Star Wars and talk about 4, 5, and 6. I had some stuff written down, but I knew we could just go for 2 hours talking about Star Wars.
I mean, in our past, we've probably gone 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hours. Full shifts of just talking Star Wars. So
from one subject to the other and everything like that, like we did today. And I just kind of wanted to give everyone a taste. This literally is episode, the whole reason why I didn't structure it any more than this. This is Tad and I's friendship for the last 20 years. We would just literally bounce from one subject to the next, talking like this across all stuff geekery abides and everything like that. Like anything in that we had any kind of an interest in. But I do want to give Tad time, because the next episode is going to be quite robust, and then you need a little bit of time to explain the top 10.
Closing out then?
I think we're going to close out. That's a good spot to stop, talking about the best Star Wars character of all time and Chewbacca and everything.
And Carol says, I hope they bring Finn back and give him something to do. Yeah, I think they really screwed him over, man.
Dude, he should have been a Jedi.
Yeah, there's a lot of people saying they might retcon that and have him in Rey's academy.
I hope so.
Like
if they do that, I will forgive some of the sins of the sequels, because I saw a post about that with Finn, and it's like they set him up to be a force wielder, a stormtrooper going to be a force wielder, showing that truly anyone can be force sensitive.
Yeah,
and then they just took it from him.
Yeah,
and I'm just like
it's
I'm
brutal.
like, oh, that makes a valid point. Anyway, but no, I want Tad to have some ample time to explain the next episode, which is only a week away. So there is a list involved, and it is not exactly just like, hey, what's your top 10 westerns? This is quite an idea that Tad had. This is a week or so ago.
This is one I just dawned on me. I think
literally
I've had these thoughts before, but it dawned on me as a topic.
Wait, I forgot one thing we need to talk about. You didn't mention this in the news, and I have to ask, because this happened 13 days ago. So this happened before the cutoff of news. Have you watched the trailer for Star Wars Outlaws yet?
No, what's that?
That's the new video game. I told you about this at work this last week.
Oh, no, I have not.
Okay, we're watching it after we go off the air today.
Forcing me into things.
It's a new Star Wars game that takes place in between episodes 4 and 5 and is covering the shady underbelly of the galaxy, where it's bounty hunters and gangsters and everything like that. So we are going to watch that trailer after we go off the air, okay?
I suppose.
We're doing it.
Forcing me into things.
I am.
So
anyway, the next episode. Go ahead.
Well, let's, we don't have any closing arguments, but let's jump to the email stuff first, which we normally do. Give out the emails. It is peter@geekeryabides.com or Tad, Tadd, at geekeryabides.com. If you want to email us, if you want to yell at us for a bad take in your opinion that we may have had, I mean, be polite about it. Otherwise, we'll just not care. But I'm open to other arguments. I'm not going to ever say that my belief is absolutely true and yours is wrong. I'm all about spirited debate. But because I'm sure there's some things we've said that might upset some people, because we all have strong opinions. Because
it's Star Wars.
Yes, exactly. Star Wars is almost to the level of religion when it comes to talk and discussions. When it comes to people, it seems like. So reach out to us. But next week, which is only, like I said, only a week away, episode 11, we are going to do, I called it 10 opening nights that you'd go to see if you had a time machine. So essentially, yes, you got a time machine. You can make 10 jumps. You can go to opening night to 10 movies in history. Mm-hmm. What movies you going to see? Top 10.
Yeah.
Could be any, and Star Wars could be one.
Star Wars, Empire, Return.
Yeah, it could be horror movie. I mean,
it could be all 9 of the Star Wars.
Yeah, it could be all 9 Star Wars. I mean, basically anything, any genre, anything, any movie, and we'll discuss our reasons.
Movie.
We'll discuss our reasons as to why.
Yep.
But as a big movie fan, and as Peter just saying, like he missed episode 1, he hasn't seen 4, 5, and 6 in theaters. Those might be some tempting options for him. For me, there's just some iconic. I mean, just imagine some of the movies that are just so ingrained in pop culture. Imagine being there when people are experiencing it for the first time. That would be magical. I mean, and there's I think this could be an easily a 20 list, but putting it out of 10 will make it tough.
That's where it's going to make it a little bit more challenging.
But I'm excited for it because I love.
Yeah, Tad came to me with this idea Monday or Tuesday this week, and he's just like, "What do you think?" And I'm like, "Oh, dude, we're doing that next episode."
Carol says the best and worst fandom there is when it comes to Star Wars. That's about true.
That sums up Star Wars fandom to a T.
Yeah, indeed. And then Carol says, so some Star Wars next week, and then a smiley emoji.
Oh, spoiler alert. Yeah, there will be Star Wars on my list.
If Star Wars was not on my list, at least in one spot, I would be fucking shocked. But I am really going to dig, because I've had this thought over the years, so it's not necessarily a new thought to me. So because there's a lot of interesting. I mean, you've got things like Alien with the chest burster. There's those things that are so ingrained now that it's oh yeah, we all know. But nobody knew when they saw it opening. Just there's so many fucking cool options for this, and it'll be I'm super excited for it. I'm glad you're as excited as I am. Hopefully the listeners are all into it.
Ted comes to me and he's like, I don't know if you're going to be able to make a 10 out of this. Maybe we'll just do a 5. And I'm like, dude, I could do 10. He's like, are you sure? I listed off 12. Do you remember that? I listed off 12 movies. I'm like, I'd go see this. I'd go see this. I'd go see this. This would be pretty cool. What about this one? And Ted's like, yeah, okay, we're doing this.
Because you see, and one of the things I think that originally inspired me was I think that the original Star Wars and the original Halloween, there's people that got tape recorders in. And that's not much, but they'll give you a couple scenes of people's reactions, what it sounded like in 1977 and 1978, respectively.
Yeah. And
ever since then, I'm just like, dude, these are movies I love. I can only imagine.
There's also iconic movies that impacted the film industry that had opening nights like The Exorcist. There's people that fainted during that movie.
Oh yeah. There's
opening night. There's people that fainted.
Yeah.
Imagine being there for that.
And it may not be in the same realm, but what about The Mist?
Yeah.
Imagine.
We know what's going to happen, but they don't.
The only hard part would be you have to stop yourself from saying lines along with the movie, though.
Oh, yeah.
You can't speak along, because the person next to you might go, "It's a witch!" and then burn you. So. So I'm super excited for it. If anyone wants to send theirs in as well, we haven't really done that on this show, but we're definitely open to any kind of engagement.
We have one person included with the
That's true.
top 10 Westerns.
That's true. So we've had a little engagement, but I don't think it's fully solidified what it feels like for the show. But we're totally open to people if you want to be involved, or if you want to be in the live chat and listen along with us, you could do that. Totally up to you. The emails are easy to find, but we will be back in 1 week, July 1st, 2023. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Oh, Batman's shit.
I'm Batman.
Oh, imagine seeing that for the first time on the big screen with opening.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Or Batman Returns. The French flipper trick.
At least his nose isn't gushing. At least my nose isn't gushing blood. I wonder how people react.
Imagine
to that.
Danny DeVito in that dirty onesie on the big screen.
Ugh.
Just wonderful. It's a wonderful thing. Or all those penguins with rockets on their
Stop
backs. Tim Burton is a nasty person.
Anyway, thank you for coming out to Geekery Bites. We're going to sign off now. Tad, hit the button. Before he talks about penguins anymore.
Carol says, well, I live in Hawaii now, so got to come up with reasons.
God damn it, you put him back!
To friends' wives. Yes. Yes. I didn't even point this time.
Fucking hell.
What, did you just look back there out of reflex?
Dude, we were talking about penguins, and I'm like, wait a minute.
And then Carol says, "Oh, so now I got to come up with reasons or excuses to friends why I stay home next Saturday again." Well, we're glad you're with us here, Carol. Mike's a spoiler alert for my list. DTP episode 1.
Yeah.
What? On Mike's, I guess I'm not following. DTP.
Episode 1, like Star Wars Episode 1 or Dark Tower?
Yeah, I'm not.
DTP is Dark Tower Palaver. So
yeah. I guess I don't know.
Elaborate, Mike.
Yeah, I'm not.
Wait, that's actually it for us.
I'm not following. Sorry, my brain is getting to mush a little bit now.
Been going for 4 hours.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're talking. I guess we are. If we're talking about next week's topic, we're talking about movies, though.
Yeah.
So I don't know if
Are there any King ones that should be on our list?
I think what he's saying is showing, and we also didn't live stream Dark Tower Palaver, so.
Dark Tower Palaver Episode 1, the podcast. Oh, I get it.
I think I'm connecting with you now, but ultimately we are trying to put it down as movies because I think when you get into television, that's a whole can of worms and stuff as well. So let's try to hold it to just
movies. Just movies.
But
I mean, I'm all for making a movie with Tad. It'll be horrible, and I'll be dead by the time we get 15 minutes into the movie. Cause that's
dude, it'd be like
Tad
Jackass, and I would just get like a penguin wrangler to just come at you with an emperor penguin. Okay, so getting a little punchy here, but yeah, thank you guys for everyone for joining us. It's been a fun conversation. It's funny, Peter at one point was asking about what kind of prep we need. I'm like, dude, we could just go. This is Star Wars.
I was when he said that, I'm like, I'm all about us just winging it like we used to. Let's do it. So it gives everyone a taste of what we're like. So, but yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you for watching our Star Wars inaugural Star Wars episode, because there will be more.
Will be prequels, sequels. There's spin-off movies. There's television shows. There's video
Rebels.
games.
We got Ahsoka coming out in a month or
Ahsoka,
so.
yeah, can't wait for Ahsoka.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck.
You need to rewatch Rebels.
Books, for God's sake. I mean, Jesus Christ. Star Wars will be a rich topic on this show for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But
games?
remember, we will be back in 1 week on July 1st for what movies you want to go see in theaters on opening night in history.
Travel.
I mean, you can go really nuts. Go like
Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz. Imagine how people react to that first.
Go watch
color.
the very first movie ever.
Yeah, or like there's that whole story, the one with the train going toward the camera and people
Dived.
in the theater. Like you could go crazy like that.
Let's do it.
All right, so we will sign off. Do we?
You always say the same thing. Just say it. Don't say that you don't have anything to say. You say it. Say it.
I mean, what it's do it. For Palpatine, I'll do anything.
Okay,
including destroy you. But yeah, let your geek flags fly high. Love what you love, and to hell with everyone else.
That's right.
That's the way to sign off. But we'll see you guys next week.
Bye, everyone.